friends. Hello. Hello, hello. Hang tight for just 1 second. I'm going to let my cough drop continue to do its magic for a second here while we wait for the YouTubes to come on. I think we're ready. Here we go. So, hi. Hello. I'm celebrating tonight. This is the first time in 8 days that I have really dressed, put makeup on, and fixed my hair. It's been a rough 8 days here. Anyhow, we'll get to all of that. But just know I've been sick, and so I might sound a little odd, well, in a number of ways. Little hoarse here. But I also have a cough drop in my mouth. So apologies if you can hear that clacking for a minute or two, and if I sound a little odd. Anyhow, welcome. It's Thursday. Happy Thursday. We're together tonight to do a little bit of creative listing on Thursday night instead of our more regularly scheduled Saturdays. If we have not met before, welcome. My name is Lael Kankar. I have a business called Lael by Mail. When I'm not traveling and when I don't have something big going on, like this weekend, we are normally here on my YouTube channel on Saturdays doing what I like to call creative listing. We're doing a Thursday night, always a little special when we do a weeknight instead of a Saturday morning. We're doing Thursday night listing tonight. So what we do here when we're doing our creative listing, basically we are taking the listing prompts that I published earlier in the week on my blog. An email goes out letting you know this is when we're listing. We always have the listing schedule kind of done a quarter in advance, 3 months in advance. And you take those listing topics and we get together and we play. We make lists, but we do it creatively based on those topics or prompts. We are playing with stamps, we're playing with paper, we're playing with die cuts, all different kinds of things. But really what we're doing is we're telling a story. We're telling a different type of story. We're telling our story. Probably stories you haven't told before. But the way that we approach it by making lists as opposed to trying to write something out, maybe journal or do a scrapbook page or something, makes it a lot easier and more approachable. I always say a lot of people feel like they're afraid to write because they feel like they have to be Ernest Hemingway, right? We feel like we have to have these long soliloquies and sound, professional when we're writing. So for a lot of us, it makes us not write or not document. But the writing and the documenting is really important. Pairing that with the art and the creative play, I think is just magical. And that's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to make some magic, right? We've been doing this about 5.5 years. Actually, May it'll be 6 years when we've been together here on my YouTube channel doing creative listings. So I will also apologize if I'm a little flighty this evening, a little flightier than normal. I'm flighty anyways, but if I'm a little flightier than normal, just know it's 8 days worth of cough medicine and not sleeping. Anyhow, so welcome friends. There is a live chat that takes place as we are together. So if you want to pop in and say hello, let us know that you're here, let us know where you're from, whether you've been with me for a really long time or maybe you're brand new, pop in and say hi because we'd love to know that you're here. So I am going to take a quick diversion. My eyes will look over here so I can try to see who's here and say hello and then we'll jump in, okay? Just pardon me ahead of time. I should probably say all the apologies and the pardons because we're really going to cross our fingers that I don't go into a coughing fit. I'm at the tail end of all of this. It's not COVID. Tested twice for COVID. Also tested it's not influenza A or influenza B. I basically caught all the other viruses that are out there apparently. So I will do my best not to go into a coughing fit. And if I do, it is what it is, but I will step out of the room and I'll put a little, note in front of my work surface so you'll know what's going on and, kind of pop in and be like, what's going on here? Why are we just staring at a table and nothing's happening? Okay? All right, so let's see who is here. Oopsie, what did I do? Let me scroll. Hello, Mimi, nice to see you. Janine, Mary Gilmartin, hello. Miss L, Carol K from Central Canada. Thank you. Yes, I am feeling better. There were some days there that were just not good. Not good at all. And then yesterday morning, woke up with a migraine on top of it. So yesterday morning, I was about ready to just, call it quits. I'm like, you know what, I'm done. I'm just going to fold it all up and be done with everything because I can't do it anymore. But hopefully turned the page. We're listing tonight on Thursday as opposed to this Saturday like we normally do. I'm hosting a bridal shower for my future daughter-in-law this Saturday. She's flying into town with some other people, and pardon me. It's actually Sunday, not Saturday, but lots to get ready for this Sunday. And then she's also in town, so that's why we won't be listening together. Anyhow, Mary, Ms. L, Carol K, Teresa Scrapping Corner, Charlene, hello from Nebraska, Wanda, Mimi, I think, is that Luann, maybe Luann. It is Luann. Hi, Luann. Nice to see you. Luann is someone I've known for lots and lots of years, and she is, I'm very excited to start working in a traveler's notebook, and I'm going to try to mind over matter. Sorry, you guys. It'll be fine. Don't worry. It'll be fine. I won't do this all the time. Anyhow, she's excited to be starting to work in a traveler's notebook and to do some creative listing with us, right? Hello, Vikaj. Hi, Tabitha. Sherry from Freezing, Pennsylvania. Gosh, you guys on the West Coast and in the South. You guys. Okay, hold please. Of course it's going to start right now. I promise it won't be like this the whole time. You guys in the South. All right. Pardon me for 1 second while I step out. Just know that I'm still here.
Well, apparently I'm going to be the pinch hitter today. So, Belle's having a little bit of a coughing fit. She'll be right back with you all. Sorry for all that. Kind of wondering why. Oh, there I am. You can probably see him. So, all right. What are our lists today? I think you're in the 2025 trends. Oh, so she already did this. Just show it. I don't know what that means. Focus goals for 26 or ins and outs for 26. Not sure what that means. January glimmers. I know all about the glimmers. We do lots of glimmers around here for everybody. But, you know, we'll all figure it out here. She's finally done coughing.
I know.
I think.
Mama just scored a goal.
Oh, good.
Sorry.
I missed the goal. To come in to help you guys with your list. Now, we're figuring it all out. You ready to go?
Yeah, I don't need to figure anything out. You're too close, so they can only see your head, honey.
I know.
Oh, well, it's okay. That's fine.
Look at all the chat. See, they all love you.
I know they love you.
Superstar now.
Maybe you should list with us tonight.
I just did. I told them what the list was.
Okay. Oh my gosh, you guys, seriously, I'm so sorry. What a pain in the butt, right?
We'll get it all out now because we don't need any at 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning, or 3 in the morning.
I actually feel really good, except for the coughing. You guys, I'm so sorry. Please, I'm good. Now, if you were here live, you'd probably be like, oh my gosh, with me, you'd be like, I gotta get out of here. Because I'm like spewing germs everywhere, but don't worry. You can't catch them through the phone. So we'll be good. It just, this just happens every so often. And of course, life, it decides it's going to happen right after I go live. So I probably got lipstick all over my teeth now and whatever, but it's okay. We're friends. This is really funny. I actually had a class I had to teach earlier this week virtually, and oh, honey, it didn't. I had one in. It didn't help. He brought me a cough drop. It didn't help.
You have a cough. Cough drops help.
No. Anyhow, I was at least showered. I had a ball cap on and no makeup at all. Not a stitch of makeup when I did my class. So we're all friends. If I can do that, I can have lipstick on my teeth or whatever it is, right? Okay, friends. Oh, we're good. It will be good. Now, so here's the deal. I missed all kinds of you guys. I missed all kinds of chats. So let's just do this. Let's dive in. Why don't we do that? Let's talk about a couple of housekeeping items, and then we are going to dive in. We should for sure get through 2 tonight. Then we'll see kind of how it goes. But I've done a bunch of pre-planning, more than I normally do. So that should kind of help things along a little bit more than maybe our regular Saturdays. All right. So if I have missed you, oh yeah, Mary, right, more water breaks. I've been drinking so much water, I feel like I'm about ready to float away, right? But that's a good thing. You know what they say, rest in liquids. Scrapbook sister said she had over the holidays. Yeah, whatever it is, you guys, it is going around with a vengeance. So wash your hands, whatever you have to do to not get it, right? Yes, I'm trying to keep drinking and stay hydrated, right? Thank you, Mary. She said it was great, Lael, ball cap and all. All right, I know, and here's the other thing. Hi, Patty. Yes. Oh, deep breaths, right? Yes. All right. What Nick said, I don't know if you heard him before he stepped back out again. He said, it's better I do it now than in the middle of the night, which, you know, that's what happens. It happens right when I go live, and then it'll crop up about 2 or 3 in the morning, and then, you know, so much for sleeping after that. Anyhow, so let's talk about a couple of housekeeping items. We are not listing this Saturday. This Saturday is the 30 days after April. This Saturday is August 31st. This Saturday is January 31st, right? Some of us wish it was August 31st. I don't know. It's been a long January, right? This Saturday is January 31st. We are not listing this Saturday. We will be listing next Saturday, which is, I believe, the 7th. I'm not going to do the math. But the following Saturday, the first Saturday in February, we will be listing. No, actually, we're not. No, yeah, we are. I'm so sorry. I've got so much happening between now and you guys, the end of March. It's crazy. The listing schedule, let's just say this. Listing schedule's on the blog, and it is always at the bottom of all the emails I send out. Tomorrow I will post it and pin it in the Lael by Mail Facebook group so you know what is coming. There's a lot. We're celebrating. As of yesterday, we finally, after a month, have figured out the lease for our new warehouse space, which so excited. If you don't know, up until this point, my business has been run out of our home. And it is taken over, it's not taken over the upstairs, the main part of our home, not, but the entire downstairs almost, it's everywhere. And it's just time. It's just, we've outgrown it, which is very exciting. So it's been kind of a rocky last month while we've been trying to get the lease negotiated, but lease is negotiated. So we are hoping to move March 6th, 7th, and 8th, because that will be a couple days after the wedding. Our older son's getting married, so we'll be in Seattle for a week after the wedding, and then before I go to Tokyo for 2 weeks. So we have a really slim window there. So I will tell you, team has been super busy this week preparing a sale. There is a moving sale that is going to kick off this Monday, February 2nd. No Lael by Mail products, so don't get all ah. I mean, you can still get but not just a little but there's a lot of stuff that it doesn't make sense for us to move. Some things that are a little bit newer, some things that are older, but the prices will be set to move. Like move to you guys, not for us to move, if you know what I mean, right? So stay tuned for that. Email will go out on Monday. What else? Oh, Monday night is a big class, a big class. Basically my second biggest class of the year. And it's a private class, so it is for the 2026 Year in Review Project Kit. So if you purchase that project kit, class is Monday night. Lots of you purchased the project kit. We sold out of the project kit in 2 weeks, which was crazy. I ordered historically enough to last us through September. and we sold out in 2 weeks. So more of those are coming in if you've been waiting for those. So just watch for that email to go out. We're just waiting for the die cuts to come back in stock, and those should have word tomorrow that those are shipping. They come from overseas. We kind of made a change in the middle, so we're hoping end of next week. But anyhow, you should have had several emails about that if you purchased that project kit. And if you didn't get a chance to purchase the kit, don't worry. That you can watch the class at any time once you purchase the kit. All right. All right. What else do we have? Oh, some other exciting news. I received the final draft today of the idea book. The idea book for this year, which is very exciting, which will come out in March. So now we've got to go through the printer and all of those things to happen. We've got one last proof, but Amy and Becky have been working their little behinds off. It looks amazing. You guys are not going to believe this year's idea book. It is, holy cow, it's going to blow you out of the water. We look professional now. It looks like a magazine. It's just stunning. So can't wait to share that. All right. So let's do this. I think that's all the little housekeeping items I needed to talk about, with the exception of one. We're going to do giveaways tonight because we originally had a listing session planned for this past Saturday, and I had to cancel it because there was no way. I got in the shower that morning after being sick for a couple of days. I thought, I can do this. I got in the shower and I'm like, I can't do this. And so I had to cancel last minute. So we've got 4 giveaways we're going to do live tonight. And they are all the same thing. They're all a $25 store credit on the website. Okay, so we're going to do the first one right now. The way the live giveaways work, if you have never been part of one of my live giveaways, we've been doing, one of my love languages is gift giving. It's just something that makes me really happy to give. And you guys have, over the years of being with me and my business growing so much, I am in a position to be able to give, which I love and I thank you for. So we've been doing giveaways since I started doing my YouTube videos 5.5 years ago, but they've been growing a little bit more, maybe a few more of them. So first one today is $25. The way we do the live giveaways is in the chat. So go ahead and chat away. Once I rotate the camera and move the lights in, I'll do the live giveaways. So it's totally random. When I stop, I just scroll my finger up in the chat, and wherever my finger stops, that is the person that wins. And you just shoot me an email, let me know that you won. I add a $25 store credit to your account on my website, and then you can buy whatever you want for $25, and you can add more to it. But all right, so that's the plan. That is the plan. There's been a lot of chat that has happened when I was having my coughing fit in the other room, and then a lot of chat happens when I do the live giveaways. So if I miss something, don't worry. Once I rotate the camera and we kind of dig in, I'll ask you then to kind of retype your chat. If you had a question or a comment that you wanted me to see, if you want to put it in all uppercase, it's a lot easier for me to see when we do that. Okay. So let's rotate. Let's do some rotating. Oh, all right. You will also be happy to know it probably won't happen until April. Yeah, this is going to be a little, I messed with this before. Sorry. Once we hit April, once we get everything moved, are we good? Yeah. Once we get everything moved, I will set up all of my new filming equipment, which I've had since December. We'll set up all my new filming equipment, and then we'll be way more professional here. We won't be doing the rotating and all that. I'll have multiple cameras. It's just going to take things up a notch. Oh, I should also tell you, more celebrating happening. We finally figured out, I plugged in, thank you. We finally figured out what the heck was going on with our internet. If you've been with me it's been the last couple of months, we were having horrible internet problems. And the reason that you might know that is because if I was live and the internet had a little blip, then I would lose everybody. And we would, oh wait, what did I just do there? Oh, that's upside down, good. Whew, I thought I got us upside down. And we would lose everything. Basically, I would lose connection with you guys. That's the way YouTube works. Once you lose connection, you can't restart. So we're good. They figured out the internet. Credit goes back to our builder. We've been in our house 7.5 years. it was been screwed up for 7.5 years, and it just kept getting worse. I won't drag you through all the gory details, but yeah. So, internet, knock on wood, should be good. We should be ready to roll now. Reggie is actually in his little bin sitting here on my desk. He's been on one today too. So we're gonna hope that he stays where he is and he stays happy. All right, let's turn on the fan because now I'm a little toasty roasty, and we'll do our first giveaway. So I'm going to stop right here, and this one goes to Janine Douglas 4014. Our first giveaway goes to Janine Douglas 4014. Miss Janine, congratulations. Shoot me an email, lailbymail@gmail.com. In the subject line, please put $25 store credit, and I will get that added to your account this weekend. All right? Thank you, thank you. And don't be sad if you're not Janine. We have 3 more of those that I'll do tonight. Okay, thanks, friends. Hi, Elise. All right. Teresa said my cat Marvin likes to lay right on where I'm working. I know, right? Basically, if you have a cat, cats like to do that, don't they? All right, so usually what we start out with is we take a look at the lists that we did when we were last together, all right? So when we were last together, we did 3 lists, but I also did 2 more lists since then. Taylor, Hawthorne Taylor, you're so sweet. She said, Lael, do you need local help with the warehouse move? I appreciate it. You guys are you're always so helpful, so kind to offer. Actually, I will be hiring our younger son, Sam, and some of his friends. So they will be doing all the heavy lifting and doing all of that for us. Thank you, though. I sure appreciate that. Any of you that are local, though, then we will start doing like local pickup. So if you're local, you'll be able to do local pickup. Okay, so let's take a look at the list that we did when we were together last on the 24th. That seems like, no, not on the 24th, Lael. On the 10th, there we go. On the 10th, we did 3 lists. We did, right? Did I miss a day? I don't think so. It's been a while. Well, if we've already seen these, let's just pretend, okay? I'm a little confused, clearly. One of the lists we did is a list that we do at the start of a new year. We do as kind of a set number of lists we've been doing for the last 5 years or so. And one of those is things I learned last year. This is a great way to kind of wrap up a year, kind of reflect a little bit. What are some things that you learned? So that was one of the lists that we did. Oh yes, that's the last time we were together. We did it on the 10th. Things I learned last year. It's really fun after you do these for a couple of years to go look back from year to year and see the different things you've learned, right? And then I guess hopefully we continue to learn these things. You know what I mean by that, but we don't forget them and have to relearn them. But sometimes we do, right? All right, and in this one we use the Take Note collection, and Take Note collection is the first collection that we will be using tonight on our first list. All right, so after that we did another wrap up. On a monthly basis, we do a list called In the News. And it's always kind of an interesting list. I always keep it very factual. So it's not opinion-based at all. It is fact. So we can look at this and say, oh, like in 2025, Charlie Kirk was definitely killed, right? That's a fact. We don't get into why or who did it or what happened or, any conspiracy theories, anything like that. Something like that is a fact. Another fact, the U.S. penny they produced the last penny in 2025. So this was a list that we did for the entire year. So we do In the News list every month. And then at the end of a year, I kind of do a recap for the whole year. So that was another list that we did. You might have noticed how my pages just fell out there. Since we were together last, this traveled to Arizona via overnight mail, and Amy photographed it for the idea book and then came back to me. So when we photograph for the idea book, it all gets deconstructed. So I need to put it back together. All right, a next list that we did was this one. So we do things that I learned. We do things that I want to remember. That one we kind of do in our About Last Year list. But this is another one we do. Things I'd like to forget. right? So there are things about 2025 that I would definitely like to forget. And this year I kind of grouped them into 3 categories: politics, some personal things, and then some business things. All right. So that was a fun list that we put together. That's another great way. And you can decide how you want to do a list like this if you are listening with us. Maybe everything on your list is personal. So there might be a lot of things that happen in your personal life that you would really like to forget. There may be some things that you don't even want to record for prosperity, right? You might just want to write them down on a piece of scratch paper and go, you know what? These are things I'm going to forget about 2025. You write them down and then you crumple them up in a ball and you light them on fire, or you throw them in the garbage, right? That's a really good way to kind of take anything that happened that you want to forget and push it out the door so you are ready kind of for a nice, fresh new year. So those were the 3 that, these are the 3 that we did together on the 10th. There were 2 other lists that I did kind of off camera that I needed to do for the idea book, because they're usually in the idea book every year, but we didn't have a chance to do them because I had to cancel on Saturday. So those were, this is one of them, 2025 trends. So for the last couple of years, I have been doing a list like this at the end of a year or start of a new year, where I'm just writing down the different trends that I had kind of made note of throughout the year. And I keep kind of a running note on my phone through the whole course of the year, so I can remember, kind of log and remember, so that when I sit down to do a list like this, I'm not racking my brain on, kind of what the trends were. So things that just things that I noticed. This was one, the highway toll text messaging scam. That seemed to be a big trend in 2025. We were getting text messages saying, hey, you have an overdue toll and we're going to, charge you $1 million and take away your license if you don't pay. And the idea is you click on the link and then, everything goes south from there. That was one. Cottage cheese was one. Protein, big trend in eating protein. Animal print. I noticed animal print all over. Lots of clothing and things like that. Bows everywhere. This thing, you guys know the 6'7", whatever that is. I'm too old to understand even what that 6'7" thing is, but that was another trend. So just kind of a fun list again to recap the year. And then the last one that I did off camera, this was a 2025 by the numbers. This was also on this one, I used the Take Note collection that we're going to use again tonight. So this 2025 by the numbers, I just kind of had personal numbers for me, like the number of national parks that we visited, pounds that I lost, the number of new Lail by Mail products we released in 2025, which was 112, by the way. Countries visited, the number of hours in 2025 I was live on YouTube, 214. The number of lists we made, 127 or 107. The number of books I read, this I was proud of, 57. That was a big deal for me. And then I looked at the end of December, I had hit 19,287 Instagram followers. So this is another just kind of fun personal list that you could do, just to kind of your year by the numbers. It might be how many new grandkids you had. It might be how many miles you drove back and forth to work. It might be how many times you went to the library. This kind of list is just a fun way to kind of recap your year in numbers. All right? Isn't that pencil paper so cute? All right, so we are now ready for our first list of this evening. First list of this evening is a list that we have been doing over a year now, and it is a list called Glimmers. Glimmers is a concept that my friend Sherry and I met in college. We were sorority sisters. We met in 1986. So this year, this August, we will have been friends for 40 years. And she is my best friend. Our husbands were fraternity brothers together. They're best friends. Our kids grew up together. It's just, I feel very, very, very privileged to have a friend in my life for that long. But last December, okay, deep breath, December of 2024, she introduced this concept of Glimmers to me. And she's not a crafter. We were just together out of town for a weekend, and she said, hey, have you heard of this concept called Glimmers, and I said, no, what is it? This is what a glimmer is. If you are not familiar with the concept of glimmers, glimmers are basically the opposite of a trigger. It's really easy to come up with triggers, right? Triggers are things like, I hate it when somebody cuts me off when I'm trying to get on the freeway. Or I hate it when somebody doesn't hold the door open for me, right? Triggers like that. But glimmers are the opposite. Glimmers are those moments in your day that make you feel joy, happiness, peace, or gratitude. Once you train your brain to be on the lookout for glimmers, these tiny moments will appear more and more. All right, so we have been doing a glimmers list for the last 13 months. I think this might be 14 months. And the whole idea behind this, as kind of we talked about in that little quote there, is the more that you watch for them, or the more that you're aware of them, the more that you notice them. And the more that you notice them, then it's just kind of one nice big, a good catch 2022, right? Let me have a quick sip of water. Charlene said, new to this type of journaling, bought a lot this past week I like, that dislike stamp, but can't find it on the website. I just happened to see that, Charlene. It is called Opposites Attract. When I used that stamp 2 weeks ago, we were sold out. And there were so many people that said, wait a minute, I want that stamp, that I ordered them back in again. So you will find them on the website. It's called Opposites Attract. There is, every time we do this Glimmers list on the blog for this week's list, I always include a link to a Glimmers article by the Newport something or other, if I remember correctly. Anyhow, if you want to learn a little bit more about glimmers and kind of the psychological nature of glimmers, it's a fantastic read. And you'll find that on the blog for tonight's listing session. All right, so what I thought I would do, I am going to use products from the Take Note collection, again, from Simple Stories. I've used it a couple times. It really has kind of a couple of different kind of sides to it, or personalities, you might say. This is the Take Note collection that I used on this list. You guys, I'm so sorry. Pardon me. I hate to do that. This is also the Take Note collection. So a little bit of a different look, I think. Oh, and this one is too. Those couple of pieces there in that paper also Take Note. Oh, and even those stickers are Take Note. All right. I am going to just very quickly, hang on, let me find my little sign. I've stepped away from the camera for 1 second. Oh, don't mind this. This was from our last, actually, let me clean this part off right now. That's dry erase. I don't want you to think that is applicable here. So let me just put this off to the side, or put this, well, I might not need it. I was thinking that I might need to go in the other room again and have a little coughing fit, but I think we might be okay. Okay. I love that you are excited about this type of journaling, Charlene. It is really a fun and different way, I think, to, play creatively, or to journal or document, whatever it may be. All right, so we are using, like I said, Take Note. Because I am towards the end of my Traveler's Notebook insert, for this list, I'm going to work off the page. And I am going to put my Traveler's Notebook insert off to the side. I will create my list here, and then when I'm done, I will add it back into the Traveler's Notebook insert. Oh my goodness, of course. Like, I didn't cough for several hours today, and now it's just gonna, it's gonna just continue. It is what it is. All right, so this is going to be a 2-page list. I am starting, Marion, with the Glimmers list. The Traveler's Notebook inserts that I use are standard wide. They are 5 inches wide by 8 1/4 inches tall. So if I'm going to use a base paper, I need to trim that down. These are papers from the Take Note 6x8 pad. So they're 6x8. I am going to trim these papers down to 4 3/4 by 8. And I do 4 3/4 by 8 because that gives me a nice white border all the way around the edge. So eventually when I adhere this back down, I'll just have a nice like little white border all the way around the edge. Okay, so there is one. And then I thought this one might be fun to work with. I have a couple of ideas on what I'm going to do here. We'll kind of see how it works. But this is also too wide. And I need to trim, obviously, from one side or the other. And I'm going to trim from this side because I'd like to preserve the flowers. So 4 3/4 there as well. And I really didn't lose too much, right? That's not too bad. Okay. So this is the left page. This is the right page. Because I need to know that because I like to round the outside corners. This is going to be a spread, right? So I'm going to round the outside corners of the spread. I do that because my Traveler's Notebook inserts have rounded corners. So that will kind of even everything out. Oh, I just realized I forgot to get out one of my stamps. Now, it's right behind me, so I'm not going far. I just had to turn around. My back is to you. Well, I get the Glimmers stamps. That was silly of me. I forgot to grab those out. So, hold please while I grab those. Are they? All right, Lil, hang tight. All right. Well, I might need to walk into the other room for a minute. I was, oh goodness. I was out of town a couple of weekends ago, and I took some of my stamps, and I have not put them away yet. So I think they are going to be in the other room. Oh golly. Okay, hang tight. Let me go grab those. All right. So just know I will be right back. And I will also have some of this. That ledger paper before I go, Virginia, if you're asking about this, that ledger paper, that is part of that Take Note 6x8 pad. Those papers came out of the Take Note 6x8 paper pad, and that is on the website. All right. Let's see where. I'll be right back. Right back. All right, friends. Well, guess what? I don't know where they are. So I'm going to run downstairs. Let me run down. Oh, wait, no. Okay, here. No. Just the back side. It's all good. Well, they're right here. They're right here where they should be. Denise, if you contact me by email, lailbymail@gmail.com, or you can just go to the website and click contact us. That is how you contact me. I came back in at the right time to see that. Don't you love when you put something away and then you can't find it because you put it away where it actually belongs? All right. So once we get going, after I kind of start decorating a little bit, we'll start talking about Glimmers a little bit more. But I would love to know, what glimmer did you see in your world this week? Did you experience a glimmer? Or actually for me, this is the month of January. I'm documenting glimmers that I noticed the month of January. So did you experience a glimmer? Did you see a glimmer? Share your glimmer. Or did you give a glimmer to somebody else? Did you give a glimmer to somebody else? Here's the thing. One of the things on my glimmers list this week or this month is that I had a couple of very nice emails from several of you. Just such nice emails. Someone sent me an email, and she was, I think, sitting on the couch, and I think she broke her leg, her left leg, and I could see her leg kind of all bundled up in a cast with a big sock on it, and then I could see me on the TV, and she just said, thank you so much. Thank you so much for, I've been down and I've been hurt and I'm trying to heal, and I'm paraphrasing obviously. But it was so nice to have, I've been watching your videos and it's been so nice, and just thank you. And then I had some happy mail from someone, but better than the happy email or the happy mail was the note that she wrote with it. It just, those kind of things, you guys, you never know. You never know how saying something kind to somebody or telling someone how you feel or maybe how they have impacted you, even if you're at the grocery store. I should just say what I'm doing. I have pulled out a stamp from the Glimmers stamp set, and I'm inking it up. I am going to test it first. Always, always, always test. I have used this stamp many times. I know what it looks like. That doesn't stop me from testing it. Testing it to make sure that I like the color. Testing it to make sure that it is clean. It doesn't have a Reggie hair or something in it, or cat hair. And that's the color I wanted because I kind of picked it ahead of time. I felt like that picked raspberry worked really well with that paper. So it looks good. I am going to do my stamping here along this edge, because I thought it would kind of work really well along there. Then it just kind of flows in that direction. So that is the plan. But you never know. You might go to the grocery store and you may have had a really hard day, and the checker just smiles and she's got really cute red lipstick on. And you might just say to her, you know what? That red lipstick looks beautiful on you. You might have thought it, but a lot of times we think things and we don't say them, right? We don't verbalize them. But you know what? If we think them and they're nice like that, we should verbalize them, because we never know what someone might need to hear. We never know what kind of day someone's had, and it might really make their day. So I had a number of those this week where people reached out to me and just said really kind words, and those were some of my glimmers. And you'll see those on my list. So I am stamping that along that edge. I am giving nice even pressure. I'm standing when I stamp. I always stand when I stamp. And then there's my nice title there, right? So it just kind of goes right up that way. I stand when I stamp because you get more leverage that way. Stamping is very much about leverage oh my gosh, what do I always say? Leverage and, I don't know. My mind is not quite 100%, but it's all about leverage. So when you are, if you are sitting and you are trying to stamp, range of motion, there we go. You don't have enough range of motion when you're sitting, in my opinion, when it comes to stamping. If you stand, you have much more range of motion and leverage. Yes, Carol is referring to kind of a fun little analogy I often use when we talk about stamping and sitting and standing. When you are sitting, these are your T-Rex arms. You don't have a lot of range of motion. And stamping is all about range of motion and leverage. So if you stand, you'll notice you have much more range of motion, much more leverage. I think that's probably one of the biggest changes to my stamping personally when I started stamping. Well, when I really got into stamping about 6 years ago. Standing while you're stamping, I think, makes a huge, huge, huge difference. So if you normally don't stand, that's something I would encourage you just to try. Get a little piece of scratch paper, try standing and stamping, and see how that works for you. All right, now we're going to take one of those little glimmers. You'll notice I just changed my stamping block. Another thing that I feel like makes a big difference is if you right size your stamping block to your stamp. Okay, so I used this big stamping block before because I had a bigger stamp. I've switched to a smaller stamping block because my stamp is smaller. I certainly could use that little stamp with this large stamping block. I could, right? It just makes it a lot easier when you right size your stamping block to your stamp. Much more easier to control. All right. So this, let me just test that one too. That's a little Glimmers stamp. And this little guy's going to go right about there. Okay. And then I'll wait. We'll see where else I might put these. Okay. Now, I have this little part up there, and I'm not really going to deal with that. That part is just going to be kind of part of the design. I'm not going to cover it up. I'm not going to write in that at all. I don't think. We'll see. All right, now what I need to do, this one, normally I would put a piece of white cardstock down, and I would write on my white cardstock. I'm not going to do that in this case. This is kind of neutral enough that I can make my list in here. I think that's going to be okay. We'll see. I apologize that I keep sniffing as well. I just don't want to blow my nose 1,000 times while I'm here with you guys. Okay, but I will, well, you'll see what I do. But I bring all that up because what I do need to do is this. I always come in and outline. Whatever I am working on, I outline. Because it looks too plain to me. It looks like there's something, it just kind of looks like it just goes into no man's land if I don't outline. So that's what we're going to do here. Like that. And because it's a spread, I won't do my little line in the center. Now, over here, I'm gonna do my list here, which we'll get to in a minute. But over here, I'm gonna play a little bit. What I thought might be fun would be to take some of these flowers. So these flowers, there are floral bits and pieces in the Take Note collection. And they're pretty much all flowers. So we've got a ton of different flowers, different sizes that I can use. So what I thought I might do would basically just be to kind of continue this floral around the edge. Now what my little sketch looked like, this is funny. You guys didn't know I'm quite the talented sketch artist, did you? Yeah, look it up here. Wait till you see this one. This one's really funny. But here, so now that I see what I was doing, honey, Nick, what are you doing? Nick, put those on the floor, please. They can't be on my desk.
Well, just see what it is.
Okay, thank
Is
you.
it any good? I'm expecting a package.
Okay.
These are from Kat's mom.
Oh, okay, thank you. All right, just off to the side. Jeez. Sorry.
Hurry up.
Sorry for the interruption there, friends. Golly, Nick.
Hurry up.
Honey.
You only have the 3 hours total time.
Go, get out of here. You're taking my time. My gosh.
Have you had a second list yet?
No, get away. My gosh. You guys, that is 30 years of marriage. 30 and a half years of marriage. I love him, but sometimes, right? Yeah. Okay. Anyhow, what I was thinking over here. So what I was thinking that I would do kind of this all around here. I thought I would take these little guys and that I would just kind of come in here and do something all around. And then I don't know, we've got to play with this here. It's going to be very flowery, but that's okay because I'll tone it down a little bit. I mean, not a lot because the flowers are, the flowers are pretty there and fun. So they're kind of in your face, but this is what I'm going to do. We'll keep kind of coming around here. So we're going to end up with this opening in the center. And then we'll deal with that opening in the center shortly. All right, so we need one more little thing to close it up here up at the top, and we'll put another one of these kind of yellow flowers in up top. All right. And then they're kind of bleeding off the edge. So as they bleed off the edge, once I get these all set, I will come in and then kind of cut the edge, right? All right. Cut the bleed off. All right, so that looks pretty good. What I'm going to do to make this much easier, instead of picking each piece back up again, actually, I think we might want these this way. So we get a little bit more of that in there. Instead of picking each of those pieces back up and then turning them over and adhering them one by one, I am going to simplify things by making that one large piece. And I'm going to use this highlighter tape to do that. Highlighter tape is repositionable. It is repositionable. Again, apologies because my brain is a little short-circuiting today. It is repositionable tape that is meant to be used to highlight textbooks, magazines, anything like that. So the nice thing about using it is when you go to peel it back off again, it comes right off. It does not pull any of the print off. Sometimes if you do something like this with washi, it tends to pull the print off. It tends to pull maybe the top layer off of whatever you are, whatever you're trying to do. So all of that, I'm basically creating one piece. I'm taking those individual 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, those individual 9 flowers, and I have now turned them into one large die cut. Whoopsie, except that guy's not quite adhered. Let me just get that back there. He's a little bit too short. Okay, that makes it now very easy for me to adhere. They're all in the place. They're all placed or positioned in the exact spot that I wanted them. And now I'm just going to come in here with my tape runner and add my adhesive and a little Reggie here for good measure. Reggie's the cat, not the husband. So here we go, like that. I think that will be pretty good. And I'm just now basically putting them all back down in one easy swoop. That was way easier, took way less time, and they all stayed positioned where I wanted them, as opposed to getting them where I wanted them and then pulling each one back up and then adhering them one by one. Nice thing about this too, it's also reusable. So what I'm going to do is take this tape that I've used and now just kind of put it on here. Tape comes in different colors. I think I carry the blue and the pink. The color doesn't really matter, but it's more the function of that tape, repositionable highlighter tape. Okay, what's really helpful, something like that, if you are working with maybe a cluster, maybe you're trying to cluster some embellishments together and it takes you a little while to get them all placed exactly where you want them. And then you get them placed and then you're like, oh shoot, now I've got to pick each of them back up and hope I get them right in the place where I wanted them again. This helps with that too. Or maybe you have die cuts and you're trying to spell a word. You can kind of get them exactly where you want them and then turn them, basically turn those individual pieces into one piece and then pick them up at once with that little tape. You can sometimes use washi to do this, but sometimes, especially depending on the washi and the paper, sometimes it will actually pull off part of the print, which you kind of don't want to happen, right? All right, so now we have this back side. We need to come in and basically cut all these pieces off, all my pieces that are bleeding off the edge. And then we're going to do something fun in the center. Snip, snip, snip away. So how are we doing tonight, you guys? Those of you that have been hit by the cold weather and the sleet and rain and ice and all of that, are you hanging in there? Colleen, I know. Colleen posted in the Lail by Mail Facebook group a couple photos of her yard. She lives Toronto area, right? Toronto area, Colleen? A lot of snow. And then, Colleen, when I saw that, you didn't shovel that yourself, did you? I hope not. I hope you had a neighbor or friend that helped you with that because that was a lot. But I hope everyone's staying safe and warm and, you're good. All right, so there we go. All of these little pieces now are off. We'll just kind of get those in the garbage because I won't use those. And then I have a couple of things like this that I thought, well, maybe there might be a space where I need to fill something in. Maybe like that. We've got some little small ones that we can fill in with. Let me grab my little glue pen here. Oh. Ah! Sorry, I didn't mean to just screech in your ear. Did you see what just happened? that glue just decided to really show itself, didn't it? All right, that's all right. We get that cleaned up. Good thing I have my little Kleenexes there. Although I would have, just cleaned it up with something else. But we kind of had a little spot there, so we'll put that in there. And maybe I think we'll try to find if we have another one of those little guys, little black and white guys, just so that we add a little bit more. It feels like we need a little bit more right there. Then we have kind of some strategically placed. All right, this one, that's interesting. So, this, last I used it, well, I used it before I was on an airplane with it. So you know how sometimes the altitude will do interesting things to some of your crafting products or some of your, like, I don't know, maybe your, like if you travel with shampoo or something, that all that air pressure gets trapped. Or if you travel with a water bottle. Have you ever done that? You travel with a water bottle and you open it up. I don't know, maybe that you're traveling with a water bottle and you open it up on a long flight to Hawaii and the man next to you has been sleeping and you go to open it up and the water pressure goes everywhere all over the man that was sleeping and wakes him up. I don't know if that's ever happened to you, but that's happened to me. All right, so now what I'm going to do, I am going to pull out a very old item that's been around a long time. If you know that brand, you know it's been around a long time. That is a self-healing cutting mat. It also has been, it's had a lot of good use. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a craft knife, an X-Acto knife, a craft knife, and I thought what I would try to do here is I am going to kind of go around these flowers. If I didn't have a craft knife and a self-healing cutting mat, I could certainly get out my little scissors, my fussy cutting scissors, and try to fussy cut this out. Because I'm basically going to make a frame. We do this every so often. One of the ways that we do this is sometimes similar to this paper. So sometimes I might do this. I might kind of X-Acto knife around these flowers and then tuck a piece of white cardstock into there, and then I do my list on top of that. That's probably usually when you see me do that most often. And it's not something that I do all the time because it does take a little bit of extra time, but it's just one of those, when you do it, the wow factor is, it's pretty wow. You want to make sure you be careful, right? You're working with a sharp blade. That self-healing cutting mat is there so that I'm not cutting into my work surface. It just takes a licking and keeps on ticking, right? You just cut right into it and it heals. And I'm not the best at this, but, it'll be fine. We'll see as I kind of work my way around there. There are some, and I probably have one somewhere. I probably never played with it, but there are some craft knives that are on like a little swivel so that it's really easy. You can see every time I go to a new angle, I have to stop and lift and move. But with this little swivel ones, you can kind of just keep going and it would swivel and I would just turn and it would swivel with me. But, I don't do a lot of work with a craft knife because it takes a lot of extra time. But like I said, sometimes you just want that little wow factor, and this is a fun little way to get a wow factor. And then with the frame that I create, we'll put something inside the frame. Oh, and that's when we wish we had music, right? Can't have music in the background because I go to YouTube jail, because then it's copyright issues. So we just pretend like we've got music playing in the background, or the I don't know, the Jeopardy theme is playing in the background, right? It would be on repeat. It'd be going over and over and over and over and over. So this is going to be a pretty detailed list, right? In terms of the product and what I'm doing. But I don't want you to be afraid. If you are new here, or if maybe you have been thinking about jumping into creative listing for a while, and you've decided this year is your year, and all of a sudden you're like, holy cow, I don't have this much time to make a list. Well, who do you think I am? I say all you need to creative list, well, really all you need to do what we do here are two things: something to write with and something to write on. Beyond that, you decide what you want to do. You decide if you want to get out pattern paper and stamps and die cuts and X-Acto knives and things like that. Or if you decide, you know what, I really like this idea of documenting. And all I'm going to do is, have a little composition notebook or a traveler's notebook, whatever you decide. I know Wanda, I think Wanda's here. Wanda uses a happy planner. People use different things. Maybe you just have a little notebook that you keep in your purse. And maybe you just add a little piece of washi to it just because you need a little bit of creativity in there or something like that. Or maybe you go full out. But the whole point is to document, right? Now, I like to pair that with art. I like to pair that with being creative, because being creative is something I really need. It's something I love to do, and it kind of feeds my soul. So, but some people will just, it's just a list. It is just a list. Keeping track of your glimmers or making note of your glimmers is a really, really, really positive thing for mental health. I think I shared this a couple weeks ago. And I asked his permission to make sure he'd be okay. And he said, absolutely, I don't care. Our older son, Jack, that's getting married on, hang on, need a little Kleenex here. Our older son, Jack, that is getting married on March 1st. We were having a conversation on Christmas Day, and he was kind of feeling down, and, we were just chatting about some things, and Nick, out of the blue, we're on speaker, because he lives in Washington. We're on speaker, and Nick, my husband, says to him, hey, Jack, you know what you might try? Your mom does this thing called Glimmers. And I'm looking at Nick like, wait a minute, what? Like, is Nick really saying this? Like, holy cow. Your mom does this thing about Glimmers, and she introduced it to her, on her Saturday things, and she does this list once a month. But the whole idea about Glimmers is to, pay attention to things, really little basic things that can kind of improve your mood, right? Yes, Louisa, creating a little window here, a little frame. But basically, keeping track of or being aware of your glimmers. And so Nick brought this up to Jack. And so while we're on the phone, there we go, that's what I was doing. While we're on the phone, I set up a group chat with the three of us, Jack, Nick, and myself. And I said, here's the deal. Let's all commit to doing this. I said, what if we, every day, we send each other our glimmer? And we're going to try to really make sure that we're looking for them. And if I do it, Jack, that'll remind you. If Dad does it, it'll remind me, and we'll all just kind of do it. And so we said, let's do it. I'm actually going to put this down right now because I want to do something on the inside before we continue. And we have been doing that since Christmas Day. So we've been doing it for a month. And it's really fun. It has, what I found is that Nick's really good about it. Nick is really good about texting with his glimmers. And as soon as he does, and I remember, oh yeah. And then if I haven't thought about a glimmer, then I start looking for one. And then I post it. And then generally what happens is then Jack posts it. And that was the whole key. You guys, Jack is 28-year-old. He is a 28-year-old, like burly guy. He is like a guy's guy, right? And the fact that he is doing it with us too, is just like, was mind-boggling. I don't know, there were so many mind-boggling parts about that. Number one, that Nick brought it up. Number two, that Jack is posting his glimmers right along with us. And a couple weeks ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, I reached out to Jack and said, Jack, how are you feeling? Are you feeling better about the state of the world? And he said, yeah, I am. And he said, and I said, do you think the glimmers are helping? Kind of paying attention to them and looking for them, and, and he said, you know what, Mom, I really think they are. He said, I got to tell you. And he pulls no punches with me. He never has. He said, Mom, When Dad first told me about that, I actually thought it was pretty lame. He's like, I'm not really like a self-help kind of guy, but I have really noticed a difference, and it really, I'm really liking it. So that to me, I'm like, holy cow, that right there. If my 28-year-old son is looking for glimmers and sharing glimmers with Nick and I, and it's making a difference in his life, then I say, you know what? Glimmers is a habit I would love for you guys to all get into if you haven't already. And it doesn't mean you have to make a list about it, but even just mentally, if you look for glimmers and notice glimmers, and then also turn it on its head, you can also be a glimmer for somebody else. I find sometimes when I'm a glimmer for somebody else, that gives me a glimmer right back in return, which is just like amazing, right? So more glimmers, more glimmers. All right, so then what I thought I would do, I had this little guy, this Big Smiles. And I don't know if Big Smiles would be good, or I also had Life Captured. I need something in there, right? So let's keep looking. Well, it's going to end up being probably one of these because I don't want to look forever. Sometimes that's why we're here for so long, because Lael is like, well, wait a minute. What else do I have? What might work there? Let's just really quickly look here and see if there are other. Smile could work. Happy could work. Let's see what we've got here. Do we like any of these? They just kind of look like they're forced, right? They just kind of don't really seem like they work there. So let's think about something else that could go in the center, because even that doesn't really work. So let's do a plan B here and see what we think might work in the center. We have 2 glimmer stamps. That glimmer word that I used on this side came from Glimmers, the original Glimmers, just called Glimmers. And this is Glimmers 2. So what if, let me look at Glimmers 2 and see if there's a stamp that we could put maybe here. They're all just kind of a little bit smaller. So, all right, what if we had something here? No, that's really not going to work either. That just doesn't really work either. So we need something to be working here, Lael. What's gonna work? Glimmer of happiness. Maybe we'll just do that. Glimmer of happiness. If this guy goes right in here, but then, or does it go down here? If it goes down here, I might try to find a little quote that I would just write in there. I think that's what I'm going to do, because it all just kind of feels like it's just not quite vibing yet. So that's what I'm going to do. We'll go ahead and stamp this, and I'm going to stamp that in black because I really want that to kind of stand out right there. Let's grab my black. I brought it in when I came in looking for something else. So what did I do with that now? What did I do with it? Life captured with this camera sticker. Okay, hold on. Let me see. What am I looking at? The Love It. Life captured with the camera. The life captured. This guy. We're back to this guy, yeah? We like that? So here's the deal with the life captured. I mean, I could put the camera there, right? We have a couple of different cameras. Even though I'm not, even though I don't have any photos, I'm not using any photos here. So does life captured still work, or does that seem a little weird? You guys tell me. I'll do whatever you say. I'll do whatever you tell me to do. Let's see. What time did this start? Deanna, we started at 5 p.m. Pacific time. Captured in a written list. Hold on. So we're thinking captured. Stamp with a quote. I know we've got lots of different things. This is what I think I'm going to go back to. I'm going to go back to this. This is going right here. And then I'm going to do some kind of little quote there. I won't do that today, obviously. I'll do that off camera and I'll show it to you guys next time. So let's go ahead and do that. But I love all the suggestions, because sometimes you guys throw things out and I'm like, yes, that's it. That's exactly what we need to do. But this time I'm just going to go ahead and stamp that. All right, let's try this. Let's try. This might be a little dry, so we're going to have to see how that works. All right, we need a little stamping block here. Does that fit? Nope. All right, we'll use this guy. Someone asked about would Glimmers, let's see, Glimmers. Somebody said, you might add the Glimmers to a future LBM sticker book. So, possible, but I will tell you what's coming in March that have been done for about 6 months now. A new set of rub-ons, 2 rub-on sheets that are Glimmers. So, they're not below me though, so I was going to show you a sneak peek, but so yes, rub-ons coming. Those are already done, so you'll see those in March. And then we have some ideas for more sticker books. We don't have any yet in the works, but we have, let's test this first, hang on. The first sticker book that we did, we've only done one so far, and we did it in December. It was the month sticker book. You guys, holy cow. We were 75% sold out of those too. That was mid-December, so that's been about 6 weeks. But I ordered a big quantity because, when you order overseas, your quantities have to go much higher. And I will say, where I can, we produce everything we can in the U.S. Sticker books, not possible in the U.S. So, but those sold so well. And also, if you missed, we still have them in stock, but there's another reorder of those coming. But yes, you guys very much like the sticker books. So we'll do more sticker books this year. And Glimmers is a really popular topic. So we will probably do Glimmer sticker book. Right, why not? So maybe I'm going to do this down below. It just feels like it should be down below. All right, a glimmer of happiness. Okay, we are going to continue. Yeah, learning to be a better stamper, someone said. Practice, right? Absolutely, we got to practice. All right. Paper Made Bakery said, my first order arrived on Saturday. I am stocking the mail carrier. You guys have been keeping Lily and Denise busy. Holy cow, I tell you. You guys have really, really been keeping them busy with orders, which I love. Thank you. All right, so we'll come back later and do a little quote there. Now we are ready to do our Glimmers list. Some of you are like, holy cow, woman. I like to play. This is really, when you have a creative business, you don't make a lot of time to play creatively for yourself. And this is my time to play creatively. So that's where I'll kind of experiment with things, play with some different things, and maybe take a little bit more time working on just a list than you might otherwise. But that's why I play. It's my creative break. All right, so let's go we're ready to make our list now. We are ready to start our list. And this list, obviously, my Glimmers from January. So let me now look and see. Oh, I did remember. I had this little guy. I do remember. I had this little guy, this little butterfly. I thought I might somewhere bring this little butterfly in. We'll see. I don't know. Maybe he ends up coming over here somewhere. That's probably where he's going to go. In fact, I think I'm just going to put him there right now. That's a him. I don't know why. In my mind, he's just a him. We'll put it. How about that? We will put it. I don't know. Do butterflies? That's starting to get really deep now. I don't know if butterflies have a I don't know. Are there male and female butterflies? I don't know. I don't even know if that's the right terminology. Okay, so there we go. We are now ready for our list. I just wanted to set those. This whole thing being apart has got me a little off. All right, so let's do our list. I will use the little glimmer. Actually, we still have this ink out because I will use the same color. Let's do maybe, I think we should do one down here, maybe. We don't need that there for now. Let's do maybe this little guy right here. All right. And then maybe we'll do another one about over here. Okay. And then I feel like we should also come in over here with one, because we need to have those over here too. And I just rotated that so it would fit where I needed it. And then maybe we also want one down here. All right. Oh yes, it's looking nice. We're getting there. And then whatever my little quote will be in there, it'll fit in there, and then we'll be good. Okay. Now I need to clean this guy off, and I will use smaller little glimmer from that same Glimmers stamp set, but one single glimmer to be my bullet in between all of the, what did I do with red? I did something with red. I was cleaning my stamps with red. Used red ink at something. All right, I need a little single bullet, and the bullet will be what separates the glimmers on my list. And I'm switching out that larger one for a little teeny, no, I think we'll do this guy, medium-sized guy. Let's see if the medium guy works. It does. So I've switched out my stamping block again. I could have used this one, right? But remember what I say, that I like to right size my stamping block to my stamp. So I'm looking for the smallest stamping block I have, which is this guy. Oh, I did, Ms. L. I cleaned the Be Back Soon. That's exactly what that was. That's so quickly I forget. This is a stamping stylus. So it is just a stamping block that is small, but it is mighty. Oopsie. What just happened there? Sometimes your little smaller stamps will get a little bit of dust or lint on the back of them. And then when that happens, they tend not to stick to your stamping blocks. And you definitely need that to stick to your stamping block. So I just cleaned it off with my little stamp chamois. All right, so I put that little Glimmers stamp at the end of my stamping stylus. And then that makes it really easy for me to stamp with that little tiny stamp, because I just go like this. See how easy that is? And again, I could have used that stamping block. I could have used this stamping block, but the smaller your stamping block in relation to your stamp, the easier it is just to work with. That's another thing that just, stamping scares a lot of people. So if you kind of use a few basic tips when it comes to stamping, standing, always testing, using right sizing your stamping block to your stamp makes life a little bit easier. So I'm just going to do my list over here kind of in a run-on. I may end up coming back in with maybe another little stamp up here. We'll see when we're done. Okay, so I have my Glimmers listed right here. I have a lot of them for January in my little workbook here. So the first one on my list is Nick earlier this week was making, he made pot roast. He's like, you know what, you're sick, I'll make some comfort food. He made pot roast. And I said, okay, great. We were talking, well, we weren't on the phone with Jack yet. But Nick said, I'm going to put Star Ainsley in it. And I'm like, Star Ainsley? What are you talking about? I said, you mean Star Anise? And he goes, yes, Star Anise. So that was a fun glimmer, Star Ainsley. He just got confused and he called it Star Ainsley, which was really funny. Now I will tell you, Nick does all the cooking in our house. So that was also really kind of ironic that I knew what it was, Star Anise, and he called it Star Ainsley. That was funny. So Nick calling Star Anise Star Ainsley. We got a little chuckle out of that. Now, our son Jack is a chef. So you better believe I sent that in our little Glimmers text chain. I sent that, all of us, and I said, here's my glimmer for today, Jack. Dad called Star Anise Star Ainsley. Now Ainsley, okay, hold on. Is Ainsley, is that the daughter in Landman? Now, Carla, you said Landman, so I wonder, is that the daughter's name? Maybe, because we watched Landman. Maybe that's where he was thinking of it. All right, the next one is several heartfelt emails from customers. Just very nice. I appreciate that, people just take the time to say, thank you. You make a difference in my life. That was just really nice. And it really, and then actually, I wrote here, expressing thanks for products, customer service, fab, fun, and teaching style. Oh, and inspiring her to take one. What? Okay, I don't know. Clearly, I was trying to paraphrase someone's email there, but yes. All right, next up. A shared Oreo mint shake at the hockey game. Oh, you want to know the way to my heart? Well, there's a couple ways. Some of you already know. Well, when it comes to food, don't come at me for this, because you either love them or you hate them. There's no in between. Candy corn, but also an Oreo mint shake. Like, oh my gosh, that's like my favorite thing ever. So, Nick and I were at the hockey game earlier this month with some friends, and during one of the intermissions we had, one of the periods we had, we shared an Oreo mint shake. Nick and I did. It was really good, really, really good. That's easy. That is food can be a glimmer. Interactions with people can be a glimmer. Humorous things that someone say can be a glimmer, right? You get to decide what a glimmer is to you. These are glimmers to me. You might have totally different things. Maybe you hate Oreo mint, so that would be a trigger for you, not a glimmer. That shake, Kristen, well, I will tell you, because I'm an aficionado when it comes to that. Dairy Queen, if you like Oreo mint, Dairy Queen has Oreo mint blizzards, and those are amazing. But that shake was at the Delta Center, which is where the Utah Mammoth hockey play. Decadent, yes. Oh, so good. So good. All right, next up on my list. Oh, homemade sourdough, rosemary, Parmesan bread. Luann is here. She was with me when I had this. I was at a little retreat, personal one, not a work one. I was on a little retreat last weekend. Oopsie, help please. Whoopsie, that's water. That is water. Hang on. I just spilled water all over my memory planner on the floor. Let me just grab a towel. I just knocked that right off the counter, right off my table. Oh, Lordy. Usually I say you shouldn't have liquids with you. That will be okay. Oh, yeah. No, well, that should not be on the floor. Well, there's a lot of shoulds and woulds and, in that whole thing that happened there. So, but all is good. All is good. Okay, we'll take a look at that memory planner when we get to our next list. But that reminds me, let's have a hydration break really quick, okay? Okay, there we go. So, let's put the lid on that and move it off to the side. I just knocked it right off the edge. I got so excited. Yes, and Big Cheryl, I don't know if you're here if you are just, if you are lurking, Cheryl, working on something, but one of my friends that's also a Lail by mailer, squirrel person, her daughter's wife made this amazing homemade sourdough rosemary Parmesan bread that she brought to this retreat. And that, oh my gosh. And bread can make you have a glimmer, right? It certainly did me. the sound of champagne opening. That pop of the cork. The sound of a champagne cork popping. It's just so happy. I don't know. It's probably because, usually I think we associate that sound with celebrations. And so, yes, there was some champagne popping at this retreat where I was. There were mimosas one morning, and just hearing that pop in the background, oh, so good. Virginia's drinking rosé prosecco right now. Well, you probably heard a pop then, right? All right, what else? You guys tell me. As I am continuing to work, you tell me now. You might have been familiar with Glimmers before. You might not have been familiar with Glimmers before. But pop in the chat and tell me what's a glimmer that you comes to mind in the last month. And I'm sure you can think of one. There's got to be one. You might think, oh my gosh, there's nothing. I've only had triggers in the last month. Think hard, and I want you guys to tell me in the chat something that was a glimmer in your world in the last month. Because then we can share. You guys all hear what I say, but then if you guys can read what each other is saying, and then as I continue to work and I see a few, I'll read them. Let's see. Virginia said, I had a glitter pen explode all over my work area and me, but I like glitter, so after the cleanup, I smooshed in my hair. See, that was a glimmer, right? That's a glimmer. That's like how to make lemonade out of lemons. Louisa found a hummingbird nest in her backyard. Mimi said, my son made me the most amazing gourmet grilled cheese sandwich. Joanne, hello, the sun melting, the snow. Joanne's in Canada, so yeah, you've got a lot of snow there. Let's see. Retro RX said, getting my pesos for my trip to Mexico in February. Virginia spent 3 weeks with her sister and family in Virginia. Vikaja's Christmas cactus is blooming. Ms. L's husband made a delicious tomato soup while she was sick last week. I hope you're feeling better, Ms. L. Jean said, a big one for me was the laughter of all 4 of my boys together around the dinner table for the first time in more than a year. I love it. Dawn said, being invited to go wedding dress shopping with my niece. Mary, sitting in front of the fireplace at Panera alone, right? Glimmers don't have to involve other people, right? We can be that we get a moment of silence. Wanda said, beautiful ice all over the tree. Our dog, every moment he smiles. Kristen says, a lot of my glimmers are often Reggie because it's just funny things that he does or seeing him. Definitely our cat Reggie for sure. Making recipes and new treats with my son, strawberry, pasty, right? Right, Amanda? Pasty, no pasty. I think it's a pasty, isn't it? Like the English. I think I know what a pasty is, but maybe you're saying strawberry pastry, but pasty's a thing too. Carrie said a girls crafting weekend. Carla's boss treated them to a fajita bar for lunch yesterday for all of our long hours. I love those things, you guys. Thank you. Thank you for sharing those things because I think it really helps to hear what other people's glimmers are too, because maybe some of the things I mentioned don't really hit your radar, but maybe something that someone else has mentioned in the chat will maybe hit your radar and you're like, oh yeah, okay. And then once we hear something from someone else, a lot of times it just makes it go and go and go. Okay, Amanda, pastry. Mimi, music a lot for me. Hearing the song Looking Through the Eyes of Love by Melissa Manchester. Yes, right? Here's the other thing. So Janine said, my daughter-in-law sending me photos of their kitten. Remember that we can also give glimmers to somebody else. So if you know someone that loves cats, then you know what? And your cat's doing something funny, just take a photo and send it to your friend. You don't even have to say anything with it. Just, something like that might put a smile on someone else's list or someone else's face. Shelly, glimmers in a very short nutshell. Just things that spark a little joy in your day. Seeing a rainbow. There's a bunch of things that people have just typed in the chat. A couple of mine. Having some really nice emails from customers put a smile on my face. Sound of a champagne cork popping earlier this month. Things like that. But if you want to go back after we're done and kind of rewind, I talk a lot about glimmers at the beginning and kind of explain what they are. All right, let's see what else we have. Walking with my friend Patty in Fallbrook. I had a lot of glimmers from that retreat weekend. Fallbrook is in California with Patty. Hold on, walking with Patty in Fallbrook. In the fruit groves, basically. So Fallbrook, California is inland from San Diego and kind of Oceanside. It's kind of inland between the two of those, but beautiful fruit country, fruit groves everywhere, rolling hills, and this retreat house where I go is right in the middle of all of that. And so when I go, my friend Patty and I will often just go out for a couple miles and up and down all the hills, and it's just beautiful. The palm trees, especially when you're leaving Utah in the winter. You have palm trees, beautiful air, fruit groves, and that's always a glimmer. Let's see, early morning, oh yes, catching the sliver of moon in the early morning hours through one of the high windows in the living room. I had gotten up early. I had walked into the other room to get coffee. It was dark. I was walking back into the bedroom with my coffee and walked past. The blinds were down, but we have some high windows that, kind of shorter windows that are really high that, no blinds on, nobody can see in. And walked past and went, wait a minute, and backed up because out of the corner of my eye, I had seen a little sliver of the moon through one of those windows. And it was just one of those things that subconsciously it registered, wait a minute, that's kind of cool, that's special. And then I backed up to look at it. And then later I texted Jack and Nick in their group chat and said that was my glimmer. I tried to take a photo of it, but trying to catch the moon, you can't really get a good photo. But I sent them the photo. Let's see. Oh, using the air fryer to crisp up sweet potato slices from the night before. I had roasted them. So the night before they were nice and crisp as part of my kind of protein bowl that I made for dinner. And yes, I did make them. I do cook a little tiny bit, but so I was having it for lunch the next day. And if you've ever tried to reheat like sweet potato slices that you had roasted, like if you ever try to put them in the microwave, they're just kind of blah and just kind of really blah. And so I put them in the air fryer and it was awesome. I'm like, oh, that's like I made them last night. Just little things, right? Oh gosh, Reggie in the indigo highway shopping bag. He's a cat. He likes bags and boxes. But it was funny. He crawled in this big shopping bag and then his little head was poking out. What else do I have? Oh, we received Jack and Kat's wedding invitation in the mail. So that was exciting. All right, and I think I had a few others. I'll just tell you. Oh, Nick one day sent me a text. Well, it was in the Glimmers. It was in our Glimmers chat. We had a squirrel, a real live squirrel, eating out of one of our bird feeders in the backyard, and I've never seen that before in our backyard, so that was kind of fun. Pistachio lattes, if you like Starbucks, and I'm not a huge Starbucks fan, but pistachio latte season. 1 pump I love it. Those are back. I had a couple of those when I was out of town. Anyhow, so things like that. And here's the thing, you guys, with your glimmers. If you write them down, whether you're writing them in a list like this, or whether you are just writing them on a piece of paper, or even keeping a note on your phone about your glimmers, sometimes when we're having a hard day, maybe you feel like we're having a hard week, if you come back to your glimmers list and refer to them, that will even put a smile on your face because you remember some of these things and you're like, oh yeah, you know what? I remember that. I really enjoyed that. That was fun. So I don't know about you guys, but I have never said, you know what? I'm good. I don't need any extra joy in my life. I don't need an extra glimmer. I feel like I'm doing well. I always can use a glimmer. So, all right, I am going to stamp one more thing up here. I think I'm going to take this. This Joy in the Ordinary. Joy in the Ordinary is also from the Glimmers stamp set. Actually, no, yeah, I'm going to do Joy in the Ordinary. Also from the Glimmers 2 stamp set. I am going to stamp that guy right up here. And then I will adhere both of those pages into my Traveler's Notebook insert. And then we'll call that one good. We'll move on to our next list. The next list is going to be a fun one. I think they're all fun, but this one is going to be a fun one. Mimi, I know you're excited for this. Mimi has been listing with us ever since day one. Day one, actually. Hold on. You know what? Let's do that. I think we should put that up there. That will kind of fill in that space. So, Mimi, because Mimi has done so many lists with us, Mimi reached out a couple weeks ago and said, hey, in a very nice way, hey, when are we going to get back to some fun lists? And she didn't say that. I'm totally paraphrasing. But when I travel a lot, which, the latter part of the year, I travel a lot and teaching out of town, and we're not listing every Saturday. So when that happens, I have to make sure that we get our list done that we always need to get done, like our About Last Month and our In the News and our Glimmers. So we've been doing a lot of those lately, and I hadn't been able to work in any kind of, fun off-the-wall ones. And I said, bear with me, Mimi, we'll get back to them. And so this is, the next list is going to be a fun one. I expect lots of chat. Here, you guys, when we get to this next list. So be ready to chat because we'll do another, when I introduce the list, we'll do another, we'll do another live giveaway. So I can encourage you guys to chat. So there we go. There's my list. Like I said, over here, I am going to, I'll kind of find some kind of quote. It won't necessarily be a direct Glimmers quote, but I'll find some kind of quote that would kind of work in there. It basically about finding joy in the ordinary. All right. Okay. So now let's get this guy in and I will start cleaning up for our next list. And I will tell you what our next list topic is. And we'll do a giveaway with that again, right? So we'll do a live giveaway. The way the live giveaways work is you start chatting away. And once I get all of this stuff put away and I get everything ready for our next list, then I'll stop and I'll do the giveaway. All right. Okay. So there we go. Again, I worked on that off the page just because my Traveler's Notebook is now deconstructed because it went out for photography for the idea book. So it's just a lot easier to work with it off the page at this point until I stitch it all back together. Okay, so our next list is called Finding Joy in the Ordinary, right? There'll be something kind of fun in there like that. I agree, Terry. I think so too. So the next list, when I was at this retreat, I was talking to my friend Lindsay, who was sitting next to me the whole weekend. And I said, somehow, I don't remember what started this topic, but there are things in life that we're like, why is this stressful? Like, this is silly. Why is this stressful? So my list is called, Why is this stressful? And I'm going to tell you one of the ones on my list. And this is, for me, the biggest example of this always stresses me out to no end. When you're going to a public restroom and you put a seat cover down, right? You put a seat cover down. And inevitably, it is an automatic flushing toilet. And that automatic flushing toilet is motion sensor. And so it will flush when it senses motion. So I get so stressed out when I go to put the toilet cover on, toilet seat cover, and then I stand up and then I'm trying to get my pants down and trying to sit down to go to the bathroom, and I'm really worried that it's going to sense that I've moved and it's going to go shh and it's going to pull the toilet cover off, right? So I'm like, and so sometimes I'm like, okay, do I get my pants down first and then put the thing on and then try to turn around? So, I mean, I think most of us have been there. And Virginia says, ha ha ha, I'm seeing this in my mind, right? But that's what I mean. Like, why is this stressful? So for me, it's these things on my list are very much tongue in cheek. They're not, why is it stressful when, well, whatever is stressful in your life. That's not this type of list for me. This is kind of a funny tongue in cheek. So I would love for you guys to pipe in the chat and tell me things like that you're like, why is this stressful? Why is this stressful? Here's another one. If you're like, ooh, I'm not quite sure I really get this, can you give me another example? When you are going into a building, I have to see how I phrase this. When you're going into a building, and the building has a revolving door. One of the revolving doors that you have to go through. And I'm always worried that I'm walking in and it's going to like stick in the middle and I'm going to get stuck. I'm not worried that I'm going to get stuck in the middle, but I'm stressed that the door's going to like stop in the middle, right? Yes. That is a stress one for me. So I would love to know from you guys why is this stressful? Leaving your underwear out at a doctor appointment. Carla, yes, and especially, we're all women here, I think, for the most part. Usually we don't have many men with us, but, if the man's here, he might get this too. Like when you go to that appointment and, you've got to take everything off and, you're getting ready for your GYN to do the exam or whatever. And you, get all your clothes and you tuck your bra and your underwear underneath your clothes in a pile, which seems so funny because really, why we're so modest, because then they're going to come and do our exam and then they're going to see everything the underwear was covering. But that's a great one. I love it. Picking a restaurant for a group, right? We're worried about hi, Mary Peck, picking a restaurant because we don't want other people to, to not like it. Escalators. Yes. Escalators. I will not under any circumstance touch the escalator, where you normally hold on to. And I have issues with dizziness and kind of stability, and so I'm always worried I'm going to fall, but I will not touch. I don't know, I just think about the millions of people at the Atlanta airport that touch the escalators, and I don't want to touch what they've touched, right? Yeah, that's a stressful one. Walking on a big streety street, and I stress about stepping on metal grates, manhole covers. Oh, that's an interesting one, right? Shopping for presents can be stressful. Absolutely. Yes, Jolene said picking the restaurant as well. Elevators anytime if it gets stuck, right? Leaving my underwear in the bathroom at work when changing into workout clothes. When I lose something in the bottom of my purse, get on the exam table, right? You got to lift up. Thank you, Deborah. I'm good. All is good, Deborah. 8 days in, I'm feeling better for sure. I got stuck in a wheelchair accessible bathroom at the Toronto airport. It was too techy for me, Shelley. Okay, Virginia. So Virginia, I think there's part of something I'm missing. I had a heart procedure, and then you said the and. So please, tell me more about that. Wear gloves. I travel so much, Wanda. I just don't hold on. I just kind of lean and hope I don't fall, right? Let's see. Okay. So those are some examples, and I will tell you some more examples because I have a whole list full. Because this is such a playful one, I'm going to be very playful with what my list looks like. I'm going to do something that you don't see me do very often. I do this more in my personal journaling. I do this a little bit in my memory planning. I pull in some things in my memory planner when it comes to this, but I don't do this very often. Maybe, I don't know, a couple times a year. You'll see me do this on a listing session. I am going to basically do this junk journal style. Oh, Debbie. Debbie says sneezing, cause ... Again, mostly women here. I think probably all women. I will tell you, I had, Jack was a very large baby. He was almost 10 pounds. Both of my babies were delivered vaginally and not C-section. So that kind of wreaks havoc on your insides. And Jack was almost 10 pounds. My bladder, well, I've been coughing for the last week, right? So you can imagine. I feel like I feel like I'm 12 years old again. And I just, started getting my period and I have pads on all the time because that's what I have to do.
Screaming at all those people.
I'm not screaming.
I can't even have a game.
Oh, shush up. Go away. I apologize if I'm loud, you guys. You know what happens? I get excited. I am very excited about what we're doing. I'm passionate about what we're doing. And that comes out, I think, in my my tone. I start getting louder. Nick came in. He's like, why are you yelling at them? I can't even hear the game. Okay, Virginia said, for the heart procedure, you're having a heart procedure, yes? The anesthesiologist is so cute, Dr. Bob, and you're 74. Well, Virginia, I understand if you're stressed about the procedure. I can only imagine, right? Angie said, trying to hurry at the ATM or into our gated neighborhood if there's someone behind me, right? Yes, it is enthusiasm, right? It is enthusiasm. All right. Okay. Oh, I need to stop. Okay, I need to stop and I need to do a giveaway because you guys are like, holy cow, Lael. All right, let's stop. The giveaway is going to Mary Gilmartin. Mary Gilmartin, 6758. Mary, congratulations. Mary Gilmartin, 6758. Mary, please send an email to laelbymail@gmail.com. In the subject line, please put a $25 store credit, and I will add a $25 store credit to your account on my website, and you can buy whatever you'd like for $25. Now, you can add to it if you want. You don't have to, but the store credit's for $25. So, this is what I'm going to do. For this list, I'm going to do a little bit of junk journaling. If you shared things that I missed and you would like me to see them, please let me know. Please let me know, because I would love to share them. Some of our why is this stressful things. So this will also be a 2-page list. I have pulled out a number of different things here. I have pulled out kind of one of my junk journal. This one is called Make a Vision Board. Books that I carry on the website. Virginia said I love to do watercolor and collage. So, right, this is kind of like a collage-y thingy. I've also pulled out some, I'll put this off to the side. I've also pulled out this paper pad, another one that's available on my website. But I was looking for a color in here. So I may be going with this color. We shall see. And then I have these things. So these things, one of the things when it comes to junk journaling or collage, you do not have to buy anything to do it. You can work with found materials. And that's what these things are. Don't mind this because this is part of what was on the floor that got spilled on. This was a travel magazine that our travel agent sent us that we worked with when we went on our big trip to South Africa last year. And so normally I would throw something like this away, but I don't do that anymore because there are lots of things in any magazine or in any brochure. When I was out of town in Fallbrook, I flew into the San Diego airport. I grabbed all of these free things, all the little stand in the airport. You guys know what I'm talking about, the little stands in the airport. I wasn't in Santa Monica. I don't need to document anything about Santa Monica. But there's a lot of great things that I can cut out of this, like this. You belong here. I can cut that out and use that somewhere. I could cut this out and use that cool Ferris wheel somewhere. But all of the magazines like this, these tourist brochures, free, right? You can grab, I cut words out, I cut photos out, get your kicks. That would be a fun thing. This would even be a fun thing, that car to cut out, right? So I came home with all these. These were all at the same airport in San Diego, Santa Monica, Central Oregon. This one, I don't even know what that one was. Oh, I already took the cover off. Petaluma, even this, like Taste of the Gas Lamp. So I pull all of these things now. And when I get when I feel like I want to be crafty, but I'm really tired, I might sit down in front of the TV and get my scissors and just start cutting things out. All right. And then I, put them away for safekeeping. These are things that I had pulled out of that travel magazine because I saw pages like this, and I have no desire to go to Antarctica. I just don't. If you want to go to Antarctica, more power to you. I don't have any desire to go to Antarctica. But what caught my eye about this, I'm like, this is so cool. This would make such a great background on a page, right? Same thing with this. Now, Alaska, yes, I will go to Alaska. We will go on a cruise to Alaska at some point. Nick and I will. But even the mountains there, I don't even know if I'd use the bear. But that as a background to start junk journaling on would be really fun. I am going to Tokyo in March, so I will do something cool with this. This was really cool. So when you start looking at things like this in a different light and how you might work them into your creative listing or your junk journaling or your collage, whatever it is, it can be a lot of fun. This one I loved because I will find something to sit right here in the palm of that little hand. It'll just be a lot of fun, right? Okay, so that is part of what I'm using here. I'm going to use that I cut out of a magazine, just that page that came straight from a magazine. That is going to go on the left side of my spread. That's going to go over here. So, because again, I'm working in a traveler's notebook. This is a standard wide traveler's notebook. My page is 5 by 8.25. So I'm going to trim this to 4 3/4 by 8. So I have a little white border all the way around. Now, where did I do with my, oh, here it is. If you guys are still here hanging with me, and you have not given a thumbs up to the video yet, I would love that. I would appreciate that. And if you want to follow, I don't know, do you follow on YouTube? No. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel, then you get notifications and, anyhow. The more people that do that, then the more people find us, which, the algorithm likes that. So, all right. So I think, let's see. If I need it to be 4 3/4, let's see what happens. I cut too much of that off. So I think we'll start over here. I don't want the Antarctica part. Now, I could cut that off if I needed to. I think we'll just go right in there. Cut that off. And then I'm going to cut, we need this to be 4 3/4. So let's see where that leaves us over here. All right, there we go. Now I need it to be 8. Golly, why does that look so off? No, it's right. It just, isn't that interesting? That is a trick of the eye. It looks way wider down here than it does up there, but it's this, it's the same height. I need this to be 8 inches tall. So I think I am going to do this. Cut right, no, actually, let's cut this little word off there at the bottom. We don't need that. And then we'll cut here, 8 inches. So we'll have a little bit of, well, just a tiny bit of sky. Really no sky. All right, so that is the base of my page. Now, I started looking for images because I'm like stressful. I've got to find something that looks like maybe it's a little stressful, or maybe it's an activity that's stressful, or maybe there's a person that's looking stressed a little bit. So I am pulling that out of that vision board book. I have a number of different books on my website like this that if you don't want to, or you're not in a position to go find a whole bunch of free, magazines like that, I do have some books like that, like this one on my website that have all kinds of things that you can cut apart. So this one, now this just, you got to go with me because sometimes the junk journal collage is a little bit funky looking. And this one's going to be a little bit funky looking. So there's this lady, and I thought she does look like she's kind of, she looks like she's kind of startled. But the way that this little pic is sitting right here, I think that I could make that she could kind of be sitting right here. So that's my thought. So I'm going to come in with my scissors and cut this out. There are some great accounts on Instagram If you're on Instagram, there's some great accounts on Instagram that do kind of junk journaling and collage that do some things like this. That if you're like, ooh, Lael, I don't quite know, what I'm doing there. I don't know how to put things together. Sometimes seeing what someone else has done will just kind of spark an idea or give you an idea of what maybe something that you might want to look for, different elements or different backgrounds or something like that. So what I'm doing here, I am trimming the majority of that away with my larger pair of scissors. Postage punch, postage punch, postage punch. Did I have a postage punch? Virginia, did I have a postage punch somewhere? Did I show something? I think that I did. I do have a postage punch. I don't remember if I showed it or not. I mean, showed something with it or not. I found it on Amazon. It was really, 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 oh, you're asking somebody else. Okay, good. I'm so confused. It was in the chat. There we go. Carla said, I recently purchased a postage stamp punch and had so much fun punching out pieces for my journals. They're incredibly difficult to find, a postage stamp punch. You might, well, I would Google postage stamp punch and see if you can find one. I had somebody ask me about it, that saw it, that I had it somewhere in person. And, then I went and looked on Amazon and they didn't have them anymore, but, you might have some luck. So I came in with my larger scissors and cut away most of the excess background. And now I am coming in with my fussy cutting scissors. These are my fussy cutting scissors, all right? With these, oh yes, and I do, yes, there is a die set, Mary. There is a metal die set that I have that would also work for that, postage stamp. These are fussy cutting scissors. Your fussy cutting scissors, if you hate fussy cutting, it's because you don't have the right tool to do it. These fussy cutting scissors obviously work very different than your regular scissors, right? There's nowhere for me to put my fingers in there, right? When you have to use your fingers like this with such a big motion to get your blade to cut, it becomes a little difficult to try to fussy cut or cut something out of something else. These little guys, you'll notice, they just sit in the palm of your hand like that. There's a little edge right there, raised edge. There's a raised edge right there. Your thumb goes there. Your pointer finger goes there. So they just really sit right there. And when you look at the amount of effort I have to use to get those little blades to cut, it's so much easier and you have so much more control with smaller pair of fussy cutting scissors like that. So that is what I'm doing here. I am getting rid of all of that excess background away from this. So this guy is going to, I'm just going to kind of continue to go around and get rid of all that background. If you are kind of getting into, or you already do, or you're kind of interested in the whole kind of collage style or junk journal style, I do a lot end up cutting things out of something else like this, right? In this case, that works as a really great background for me, for my page. So I don't really need to fussy cut anything out. But a lot of times I might fussy cut different things and layer different things. And so you kind of want to make them smaller. So I was thinking, see, she could go right there. It's almost like she is like that. Like she is on top of that little iceberg, right? She's on top of the iceberg. And the other thing I could probably even do would be to, what if I get this back out again? My little X-Acto knife. What did I do with my self-healing cutting mat? I did not put it away yet. I'll grab another one. So I'm thinking that I might do, if I want a little bit of this, maybe to, I'm going to do just a little, cut through a little bit of this. You know who does really well with things like this? Little kids, right? You can give them a magazine and tell them to cut something up and make a picture. And they have no qualms, right? They have no problem doing it because their little brains have never been told that that's not how you do something, or that that's not the right way to do something, right? Something happens when we are about 5 or 6 years old where we've felt free in creating, we've been felt free in coloring and drawing, and no one ever has told us at that point that what we did doesn't look right, right? But something happens around that age where we start to feel like that we don't, we get very critical of ourselves, probably because somebody at some point told us that something was ugly. And then we get afraid to play. So I find that doing this type of art, collage, junk journal, whatever you want to call it, some people call it glue booking because you're really just like gluing things in a book, that's very freeing because there's no rules. There's no rules. You do whatever you want. Oopsie, oopsie, oopsie. I need to get this little thing underneath there a little bit. And then this part on top. All right, there we go. Now, I had pulled some different words that I cut out of magazines, right? So I pulled this one that said every time, because really this kind of every time, these things are stressful every time. So maybe this goes down here. Maybe, I don't know, we'll see where it goes. Why did I pull out small? These are small things. This is life every time. We could do small. We could do experience. I could not find, I have a really big one of these where I have just cut out all different kinds of words. I have no idea what I did with it. I had it out. I had it out from when I was out of town at that retreat. I even used it for, I had to pull some of the words for a photograph for the idea book, and I did that earlier this week, and I have still no clue. I have no clue what I did with it, so it's here somewhere. But I think we'll do that there. This is life every time, right? It is. Every time these things happen, I'm like, oh my gosh. They're small things. They're not big things to be stressed about, but it's just one of those kind of, why? Why do we get so stressed out about these silly things? Like the toilet seat flushing and getting our toilet seat cover oh, golly, what did I do there? Why is that so short? Oh, it's not. It's because I'm deconstructed here. Let's do this. There we go. I will probably come in with some other words. I need to kind of come back and look for some other words. There we go. I know I'll want to put some words on the other side too. So just kind of fun. It's very freeing because there's no rules, right? There's no rules. I'm not worried about what goes with what. I just put this like lady who's old fashioned on this iceberg. She looks like she's stressed, right? All right. Steph, our education system is what happens. Virginia, the brand of the scissors, yes, they are Lail by Mail scissors. So they are on my website. Yeah, you can absolutely use ephemera too, right? You can kind of use what you have. If you have die cuts and ephemera and different things like that, you could do that. You could use tickets from your travels. So I kind of work this similar style in, but a little bit different in my memory planner. So this was the week that I was at that retreat. But you'll see a lot of times I do things like this. Like that I cut out of a brochure. Those are palm trees. I was in San Diego. I cut those out of a brochure. I will do things like this. That's a word, a phrase, traveler tidbit. I cut that out. This little guy I thought was fun. I cut that out. That, you talk about kind of your ephemera or your memorabilia. That's a sticker from my flight. That's the luggage, right? So it's just kind of a fun way to be, just for things to kind of be fun and free. You can work them into, really any of your projects, your planner, your scrapbooking, your lists, whatever it may be. All right. So that is that side. Now, I was looking for a piece. I had this marked, didn't I? Pattern paper. Let's see if that blue. That blue, I need a background because I really need a better blue than that because that blue is just not quite right. Oh, this one. This one might work, right? It kind of gets that dark in there. Let's do that blue. So I will just pull this out of this book. And I need to trim this down. So this is also needs to be 4 3/4 by 8. I know you guys, some of you are, please. If you need to leave, don't feel like you have to let me know that you're leaving. I love that you were here with us. But I know when we do a nighttime listing session, and we start at, we started at 5 Pacific because I know then that's, 8 on the East Coast. It's hard to get a time that works for everybody. So we started late for your East Coasters and early for you West Coasters. But when we do a nighttime listing session, it also lets some of our friends the other side of the world, like our friends in Australia, join us because usually they can't on a Saturday because it's the middle of the night. All right, so that will work. Let's go ahead and round these corners. My memory planner, Jean, I am using a Archer and Olive B5. I have, I think 1 or 2 blog posts on my website, kind of about what I'm doing, and you can kind of see my spreads and what I'm using on the blog at lailbymail.com. All right, so we have that. Now I need to use, it's going to make sense to bring white in, right? So I'll do my list on, let's do our list on lined, I think we'll do just lined paper. Does that fit? No, I don't want the rounded corners. I don't like the rounded corners. There we go. So I have different paper packs that are super basic. There is a grid one and there is a lined one. And they're in 2 sizes, so don't mind that. Lined in 6 by 8, lined in also 12 by 12. It's kind of your lined notebook paper, like what I pulled out right there. And then there's also a grid or graph paper, also 6 by 8 and 12 by 12. So that's what I'm using here. And I think we'll do we want to use that over here? I think we can keep that. We'll keep that little, it'll just add some visual interest if we keep that, the margin. So let's grab trimmer again, and we need this to be 4 3/4. What? Oh, what did I do? Oh, no, sorry. Not 4 3/4 because that was 4 3/4 by 8. I need to make this smaller. Not really thinking there what I was doing. So let's go there and about right there. Hello, Steph in Spain. She said, good morning. I was sound asleep, then woke up and couldn't get back to sleep, and here you are. It's 4 a.m. in here in Spain. Well, I'll either put you to sleep, Steph, probably not. I don't think I'll lull you to sleep with this voice. And my tone and my excitement. But yeah, hang out with us. Maybe we'll put you to sleep. I'd love to put you to sleep. But if you don't go back to sleep, then 4 a.m. you're getting an early start, right? Sometimes we like early starts. All right, so that will go here. We've got this kind of going here. We'll end up bringing in some more of this color over here. So we probably need to have this more over here. I don't know. We've got to figure that out. We need a title. Our title is, Why Is This Stressful? What was I going to use for the stressful? I have in my head, I have two different. Oh, I know what I'm doing. Okay. I'm using rub-ons on both of these lists, and I had to remember what I was using for what. So let's get these out. I've already pulled them out of the package. These are... No, I'm not using rub-ons on this. I am not using rub-ons on this. I'm using them on the other one. Sorry. What I'm going to use over here, I will use a couple of words kind of spread across just to kind of tie the two sides in. I also need to pull more color over here because it's kind of that color, but it's kind of off. So I need to pull in a little bit more color from this side. And I think what I will probably do, we might just embrace, well, I'll end up doing my title. I would love it if I could find a word that said stressful, like that I cut out of a magazine, but I haven't found one. So that would be ideal because then it would kind of all go together. Although I could maybe kind of make one that looked like it. Maybe that's what we try to do, is make one that looks like it. Yes, I need to bring in a little bit of this color. So I am going to probably, I'm thinking, not fossilized amber, maybe scattered straw. I'm going to ink the edges of this just to bring in a little bit of that color. So got my swatches here of all of my Distress Oxide inks. And I am going to scattered straw. That's too yellow. Mustard seed too yellow. Fossilized amber. I think we better go with scattered straw. Let's go to the browns just to see. Ooh, there we go. Antique linen. That's what we want. All right. So I'm going to come to find antique linen. Oh, things are going to fall on the ground here in a minute. Okay, there's that, and this, and we need antique linen. So antique linen is going to be right here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to ink the edges of that lined paper. And my antique linen right here. So I've got my little foam blending tool there. And I have my little foam blending head that already has, my little foam, I guess, that already has antique linen on it. So, circular motion, pick up some of that ink. And let's see here what we've got going. All right, see how that's going to help us bring a little bit of that color over. I think what's going to bug me though, I think having that red line, I don't know, that red line's probably going to bug me over there, the margin. Jen 8. Jen 8. Hello, I just saw your comment. Jen said, lots going on. I'm going to have to watch your how to list video. Yes, so if you guys are new to me, or maybe you've known me for a long time and you've heard me talk about creative listing, but you're like, I think, usually happens to the start of a new year, right? We get lots of fun ideas about different things that we want to try, and the start of a new year is sometimes when we do those things. And you've thought, you know what, I think I want to learn more about this creative listing. And there is a free class here on my YouTube channel about how to get started creative listing. That would be a great thing I would recommend for you to check out. Because I kind of talk about what it is and then give you some examples, example list topics on where to start. Because usually what happens is people are like, oh, I don't know where to start. What do I start with, Lael? What kind of list do I start with? And I say, just start. And then you say, well, I don't like that answer. And I say, well, okay, then here's some other examples. I really wish I had my... Golly jeepers, I really wish I had my big one out that had all my words in it, because I'm not, well, maybe we're just going to end up putting some bizarre words on here. and then we'll just make them work, right? Because if we don't have what we need, then we don't have what we need. And that's not, we're not going to let it stop us from working, right? I would like one of these. The Adventures Lifetime. No, I've got Life over here. I don't want to do that. All right, well, we've got those two so far. Let me look, though. I'm going to come back in here because there might be something in the vision board. There might be some words in vision board that we might be able to, I know there were some words in here that I saw. Aspirations, charisma, self-love, self-knowledge. No, those are things more for, those are things definitely more for vision boards, right? Not necessarily for adding little things to my list. And probably what we're going to see in here is all kinds of words that are like that are white and that are meant more for vision boards. So those aren't really going to work for me, are they? I am going to need something else, I know, in here. I know I'm going to need one more word. Well, let's do this. Let's just look. Let's see if we can find something that would work. I would like that to say reality. It would be great if that said reality. Curated. No. Welcome. See, when you look through a magazine like this, you're like, there are a lot of things that we could pull out. Savvy. Secondhand. No. Did you know? Did you know? This one will work, right? Let's do that. Did you know? And when I cut through magazines like this, if Nick and I go out in our RV and he's out fishing or something and it's raining, because you can tell that happened recently, well, last summer, then I just get out my magazines like this and start cutting a whole bunch of things. I don't even know what I'm going to use them for when I cut them. But sometimes you'll just you need some things like that, right? Then let's see if we can find one more. Yes, ransom letter stickers. I actually have that ransom letter sticker book on the floor. I don't have it on my website, but I bought it because I thought I might. Well, I need to see if I can find them. If I can find them to wholesale, I'll bring them in. That's why I bought one, because I thought it was kind of cool. Yeah, your little, and what some people they will do the same thing. Like they will, let's see, now I'm getting distracted because I'm trying to think and talk at the same time, right? Some people will do something like this and cut out all those little letters, and then you make your own ransom letters. Aha, Mimi, right? That's what we're talking about, aren't we? I could do stressful, right? Okay, how about if I cheat? What if I cheat? What if I cheat here? What if I cheat and instead of cutting them out, I go to this? See, I told you I had it. Because that would make life a lot easier right now. Because that would be a great title for this, right? Let's try that. What's fun about a book like this? Again, you don't have to buy things like this. You can take the time and cut all your little letters out of books. So, or, whatever you're looking for. So, stress. Let's see what we're going to do here. So what I'm going to do, this is my list. Why is this so stressful? I am going to put all of my letters for my title out on my ruler. And that will make sense in a minute. So what kind of S would we like to go? I'm going to try to stick in, maybe we could start with this, because this will pull in a little bit of my yellow, right? I'm going to try to stay in this color family of what I'm working with here, right? Oh, I'm going to need a lot of S's. Stressful, that's got 3 S's in it. S-T. S-T. Ooh, maybe a blue. Maybe this guy. What I've seen some people do that's kind of fun, I've seen some people get those little bead containers, and then have a different slot for each letter of the alphabet, and then you just cut your own ransom letters and put them in there. Now, I need to tell you, you've probably figured this out now. I'm not paying any attention to the chat. Right now, that's going to be for me trying to walk and chew gum at the same time while I'm doing this. So we're just going to have fun here. S-T-R-E. Go with an narrow. I know, right? Because we're gonna start to get kind of wide, right? Look what's gonna happen. This is stressful, isn't it? Stressful. We're gonna have to start to go narrow. It's stressful that I'm going to start to run out of space. I need some really thin E's. Well, and I like it to be different than, well, I guess we'll go, well, no, this is what we're going to do too. We can also like layer them on top of each other, right? We could do a little bit of this. Like that guy can go there. So who knows what this is going to look like when we're done? It'll be fine. It'll be fun. It's just kind of freeing, right? It's freeing and playful. And here's a smaller, narrower S. And you'll see why I'm doing them on the ruler in a minute. Stress. We need another S. Here's a fun S. Interesting that there are 2 sheets for S's and only 1 sheet for E's. Stressful. All right, F. Oh no, there are 2 E's. 2 E sheets. Stressful. Ooh, this is a fun one. This will F. So it's kind of working with our color palette here, right? Now we need to get more yellow in. So let's see if we can find a yellow U. A yellow U or like a W, but a yellow U. Yellow U or this little yellow U maybe will work. It's kind of wide though. And then we'll do an L. Well, of course we'll do an L, Leo. L is next, stressful. All right, we are going to have to go back to these guys in the beginning because none of them are overlapped. We need them to be overlapped. All right. And some letter sticker book. Mimi, I do not yet. That's why I bought it, because I wanted to get a feel for what it was like. I will get on it. I will get on it. I'll find it for us, okay? All right, stressful. Woohoo, there we go. All right, now it's all starting to come together. That's what we needed, right? That is absolutely what we needed. So this is why I put them on the ruler, because I was able to overlap those, kind of figure out what I needed, and then I can come in with my ruler and look at, I can decide exactly where they need to go. And I can get them centered-ish. And then all I do is press down on all of those letters and then roll that right out. Stressful. Okay, and now we're going to do this. Why are these things? Why is this? Why is this? This is going to kind of be funky, but it'll work. We're going to say this. Actually, it's very interesting how this worked out. I didn't plan it this way. Why is this stressful? Okay, there we go. Now we need to come in, do our little outlining. So we will end up getting through 2 lists tonight. We'll take the third one that we didn't get done, which is, what's our next one? Our next one is, oh yes, ins and outs for 2026. We will talk about that one before we end though, okay? We'll for sure talk about that one before we end, because I'm doing a little bit of a different take on a list that we typically do every year, but we're going to do a little bit of a different take on it this year. This actually came out of, well, I was talking to my friend Lindsay at that retreat, and I don't know, she showed me something, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I love that as an idea for a totally different take on like our focus list that we do every year. So we'll talk about that before we go. So then you'll have a chance to kind of think about it before we're together listing again. All right, so here we go. Just wanted to put those side by side. This is not, I feel like, I'm going to change course for just a minute. I feel like that's not the right color. I need that blue. We need more blue in here. So I pulled this guy out. There's definitely more blue in here. And let's see if we can try to find, I need like that blue. that might end up being what we use. We'll see. A book like this that just has a whole bunch of different, random patterns in it. Well, maybe it's this guy. Oh yeah, that's kind of stressful looking, isn't it? All those lines are stressful looking, so we'll do that. But a book like this that just has a whole bunch of random patterns, it's not a collection, it's just kind of a whole bunch of different papers. Sometimes it's just what you need, right? We don't need a pattern from a collection or something because that's not how we're using it. We just need really color with a little bit of pattern. One of the things that is on our list this year to come out with later in the year are 6x8 paper packs. And the 6x8 paper packs being not this style, but that kind of same concept where you have just some color with some really basic pattern that you could use for anything. That's been on my mind really for the last year and a half because we are starting to see kind of the industry shrink a little bit. There are a number of manufacturers that we lost in 2025 and makes it a little bit harder for me when I am looking for product that I want to, use in my listing. And so that's just one of the things that you'll see us come out with at some point this year. Some fun kind of generic things. That's way better, don't you think? That's way better. That was just not working. There. Oh, yeah, that's what we needed. There we go. There we go. Okay. Okay. Sometimes it's okay to start in one direction and then change course midway through. And I guess I didn't really change course. All I did was change the paper, but it's okay to do that, right? If we have to do that, we have to do it. It's okay. All right, so now if we just have a couple of these, maybe just feel like we need a little bit, and they're just kind of generic. They're just, will be over here, and then we'll kind of help to tie it all together, right? Now it's kind of coming together a little bit. All right, so I'm just going to put these down now. So they won't really be in any, they won't really mean anything. They're just more decorative for us. So we'll end up writing around them. I don't know, this one maybe could just go off the edge a little bit. Maybe that one should go off the edge too. All right, why is this stressful? Thank you, Steph. Totally different spread, you guys, right? I mean, very different than what we normally do. I said that you see me, well, sometimes you see some of my travel, like junk journal glue books that I do, where I'm really pulling in a lot of stuff like that. That really kind of my spreads, that's all it is, a few words where I've written, but it's mostly stuff that I cut out from magazines. But you'll see me work this kind of style in a little bit more into our listing this year, just because I think it's fun and it's really freeing. And at least it's freeing for me, right? It's freeing for me. So it may not be, some of the things that I do may not be your style, and that's totally okay. What I would love to be your style is listing and taking the list topics or being inspired by some of the list topics that we do together, like this. Why is this stressful? And then working it into your art, whatever your art may look like. All right, so now what I need, I'm just about ready to do my list. I need I need a bullet stamp. And I think we'll probably just keep this one. I don't know, we either go really funky with it or we keep it really basic. I have pulled out 3 different bullet stamps. Bullets and More 2, and Bullets and More 3. And these I use when I'm doing any kind of run-on list. So run-on list being something like, well, this, right? Those were bullets that we did on the last one. So it just kind of visually separates one thing on my list from the other. It's not kind of like a numbered list, right? So I think we'll probably just keep it really basic. We'll probably do just There's a little clock there. That little clock might kind of, oh, something, talk about this. Let's talk about stressful. I'll tell you where all of our stress started when we were little kids with that darn game called Anticipation. Remember? It was that red, it had a red box kind of, and it had a yellow tray, and you'd push the yellow tray down, and you had to have all the little shapes that were little yellow peg things, and you'd try to get the little pegs in the shapes, and there was a whole ticking time bomb, timer, that was going off the whole time, like tick, 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 and you had to get them all in before the whole thing like jumped up and all the pieces fell out. That is where, talk about like, why is this stressful? That game, right? So the little clock could be stressful. Maybe we'll just do the little clock. That could be kind of different. I was just going to go with a regular, basic little bullet, but I think we could use our little clock here. You guys know, perfection, anticipation, perfection. I knew it had a cushion on the end, a cushion. Yes, Dankeschön, a cushion. Yeah, Gesundheit, cushion. Okay, I have not taken any kind of that cough medicine yet, all right? That cough medicine I reserve for when I go to sleep so it knocks me out. That's just Lael being Lael. All right, so we need this blue because that is what color my bullet is going to be. It's going to be that blue. So that is, let's see here. What is that? Salt, might be salty. No, not salty ocean. It's not salty ocean. Blueprint sketch, maybe. Blueprint sketch. Let's do it. Blueprint sketch. All right. Now, you know what's going to be really funny? What's going to be really funny is tomorrow. Well, no, I actually have till tomorrow night. It's okay. We're picking, my mom and I are picking them up from the airport. We're going to take them out to lunch and then taking them to their hotel. Long story, hotel, just anyhow. Or operation, yes. Butterfingers, same thing. That's where the stress all started when we were little kids playing the games. Anyhow, I will have time to pick up tonight or tomorrow afternoon before they come over for dinner. So, yeah, I was gonna say that's gonna be interesting. That's gonna be funny is to try to watch Lil get this room cleaned up in between now and then. Well, I guess, can you tell it's a clock? I guess if I need to make sure it's going the same way every time. And the way I do that is the way I oriented the stamp in relation to the little squirrel there. That's how I know it's the same-ish orientation every time. All right. So if you're like, wait a minute, mousetrap. Okay, Terry, I remember the game Mousetrap, but I don't remember the game Mousetrap. I know the name. I remember it was a game, but I don't remember what it did. Is that weird? I don't remember. Okay, so now some of you have been with me for a while and you're like, what the heck? Or some of you kind of joined late and you're like, what the heck is she even working on? This list is called Why Is This Stressful? These are kind of silly things in life that are stressful. On my list, the first one, and this is the example I started with, the toilet flushing in the public restroom before you can sit down on the seat cover. I bet if you surveyed 9 out of 10, what is it? 9 out of 10 dentists. What was that commercial? 9 out of 10 dentists agree, whatever that is. 4 out of 5. Anyhow, I bet most people would agree that that is a stressful thing. You're like, you gotta sit, right? Before that happens. Revolving door stopping halfway through. Yeah, that's another one for me. Revolving door stopping when you're halfway through. Oh, we need to do another giveaway. Because I have 2 left, you guys. I have 2 left. Okay. We're gonna do another giveaway right now. All right, giveaway happens in the chat. So those of you that are still hanging out with me, still a good number, still here. I'm proud of you guys. I'm proud of us. I'm also proud I haven't coughed in a really long time. So let's have a hydration break to make sure that continues. Dentine gum, right? Dentine gum. What happens, this gets dangerous because I look up at the chat and then I think someone's talking to me and I'm like, Dentine, wait, and then I get sidetracked. Okay, so yes, we're doing another live giveaway. It happens in the chat. Oh yeah, thumbs up too. If you're still here and you haven't thumbs upped, then go ahead and thumbs up now. Now's a good time to take a break and thumbs up, for sure. I'm having so much fun. I hope you guys are. All right, yes, live giveaway. We'll do it in the chat. So I'm going to do a couple more. I'll stop. We'll scroll in the chat. And then we'll do the last two. Then we'll just get those out of the way. All right, what else is on my list? Oh, the verification code expiring, right? You know, when you're doing something online and it needs to send you a verification code, and it's like, you better hurry because this verification code is going to expire in 1.2 seconds. The verification code expiring. Similar to that, but totally different. How did I word this? The getting locked out of your password tries. Right? After too many password tries. So, you know, when it's like, oh, you only have one try left. You only have 2 tries. And you're like, oh my gosh, what? And you're like, I don't know my password. And then you're trying, and then you're like, oh, shoot. It's now between A and B, and you don't know which one it is, and you're worried about the password lockout, right? Stress. These are still, why are these things so stressful, right? Oh, prove your human pictures. I know, when it's like, pick all the ones with bicycles, and then you're like, okay, hold on. Now, that's got like just a corner of a bicycle wheel. Am I supposed to click that box or not? Right? I know. It's crazy, isn't it? Mary, you and I are on the same wavelength. Like I said that, like literally as you, I think just typed the same thing. That's crazy. That's bizarre. We're like simpatico or something. Okay. The CAPTCHA, I know, CAPTCHAs. Okay. So here's another thing, you guys. Something like this, if you think I'm in a room by myself with my cat and you guys are all in your own rooms doing whatever, right? We are enjoying this topic. Imagine if you're sitting at dinner with your family and you bring up a topic like this, right? Or if you've got, you know, friends and you're trying to do some kind of icebreaker because you don't know the people and you're like, you know what? I was talking with some friends the other day. You can say this. You know what? I was talking with some friends the other day and we were talking about like, why are these things stressful? And you know, like when this happens, isn't that stressful? And then you just like, it strikes up this whole kind of conversation. So it doesn't have to just be what we do here together. You can take it into your real life. Okay. Oh, here's another one. This is the worst. When you are shopping with a credit card and it comes back declined and you know it's not declined, like a false credit card declined. I'm going to call it that. That is the worst. I always feel like, I'm like, oh no. I have plenty of money in that account. That's not me. You try that again. You try that again. And you know the clerk's like, oh boy. Clerk's like, oh boy, right? Yeah, we hear that all the time. A false credit card decline. That. And then part of it's stressful because, you know, you feel like an idiot. And then part of it's stressful because you're worried about what the people around you think. And part of it's stressful because you're like, wait a minute. Did I get hacked? Is all my money gone out of my account? Like what happened? Yeah, I hate that. That's the worst. Waving back at someone who was not waving at you. That ever happened? Waving back at someone who was not waving at you. you're like, oh my gosh, I am such a dork. You feel like such a dingling. And then you're like, oh, and then you kind of try to turn and pretend like you were like fixing your hair or something, right? Yeah. All right, what else do we have here? The smoke detector chirping at midnight. And it's not because it's a fire, right? Or even any time. I'll just say the smoke detector chirping. Because it's reminding you that the battery needs to be changed. That is like so stressful. And then you walk around trying to figure out which of the 812 smoke detectors, I'm kidding there, but which of the smoke detectors in your house it is. And then you have to wait like however many minutes in between. And then it suddenly seems like there's 28 minutes in between each one. And then you have to walk somewhere else and wait and listen. And yeah, I hate that. Not remembering someone's name. That happens to me a lot. Not remembering someone's name. Or calling them the wrong name. This is a hard one for me. I meet so many people and I meet so many people teaching. And I remember people's faces. I remember conversations that I have with people. Someone just emailed me this week and said something about, hey, I was at a 3 Craft Chicks event with you and we were talking about your son or something like that. I'm like, oh my gosh, okay. I typed back. I remember you. I remember you were sitting next to your mom. I remember we talked about our boys for a really long time. I couldn't tell you what her name is, but I remember things like that. But this is a big one for me because I feel like I should know you. And I do know you, but I feel like I should know your name. But I don't. And it makes me feel bad. That's stressful for me. Responding you to when it doesn't apply. Like when you're at the airport and you're at the check-in counter or at the ticket gate, whatever, you're checking your luggage in, and the person says, have a nice trip, and you say, you too, and then you're like, oh yeah, no, you're not going anywhere. Yeah, so responding you to when it doesn't apply. All right, what else do we have? I'm getting near the end here. I have 1 or 2 left. Let's see what we have. Curious, any of those on your list? Or do you guys have some that are totally different? You have some that are totally different. I think I was supposed to do a giveaway. Let me stop right now. Giveaway. Lupe de Hoyos 2973. And I apologize because that I cannot roll my R's. Well, there's no R's in there. That didn't even make sense. I cannot pronounce names very well to save my life. So I'm sure I just butchered yours, especially if they are, I think, foreign, right? Lupe, I could try to, Lupe de Hoyos. Yeah, no. Anyhow, Lupe, congratulations. You are the next winner of a $25, my other pen go, store credit on my website to buy whatever you'd like for $25. Lupe de Hoyos 2973. So if you would please send me an email, lailbymail@gmail.com. In the subject line, please put $25 store credit, and I will add a $25 store credit to your account on the website. Congratulations. All right, you guys, we have one more live giveaway, and I'll do that in just a few minutes. Okay. I love that you guys are resonating, right, with what we're saying. When someone says happy birthday and you say you too, exactly, right? You respond you too to things that really do not make sense. They really do not make sense. All right, let's see what else I had. I had, going to the bathroom next to someone in a public restroom. Even if you're only going number 1, let's be honest, we can be honest, we're all friends, right? Even if you're only going number 1, I don't know, it's very stressful. So going to the bathroom next to someone in a public restroom. Going to the bathroom next to someone in a public restroom. And you know what? I think that is. I think I got everything. Okay, I have to show you guys my sketch. Okay? Trying to potty quietly. There we go. Yes, absolutely. Mary said, even in the work restroom, choosing a stall, right? You're like, ooh. And I will tell you, let me tell you, because when I am teaching somewhere and there's a public restroom and it's a restroom that's right outside like where the big event's being held or whatever. Hi, Melissa. Nice to see you. A ballroom or whatever. And I go into the public restroom and I'm like these people know me. They know me, but I wouldn't necessarily want to go to the bathroom next to them. So I'm like, yeah, it's very stressful for me. Very stressful. Or when they're on the phone, I know that is stressful too. When you're in the restroom and someone's on the phone and you're like, oh, okay. Anyhow, all right, friends. So here we go. There's my list. Why is it stressful, right? Some of us, we feel like we could probably, I don't know, maybe do a couple pages worth of this. But here we go. I'm going to show you my sketch. The sketch that I made ahead of time. You guys will get a kick out of this. So here it is. There is the big iceberg, right? That's the iceberg. There is the treasure chest or whatever. And there's the lady. See the lady, her little head with a smile? Let's look at these side by side. There's the sketch, and that's what it looked like. Is that funny? That's kind of crazy, isn't it? Yeah, anyhow. Funny. Vicky, the bigger question about that we're still going is that it's almost 11 p.m. your time. You're still going. What are you doing, friend? Why are you up still? All right, so let's go ahead and get this in there. Let's go ahead and get this little guy in, and then we will wrap it up for this evening. No, we'll do one more giveaway, and then we'll wrap it up for this evening. Because, I don't know, I feel like the Energizer Bunny, but something tells me, you guys, this is like literally, I have not gotten out of bed all week in the last 8 days. So, well, that's not true. I had to teach a class the other night. I got out of bed, but I had a ball cap on and no makeup. Some of you saw me for that, but you know, that is what it is. That's how you know that we're friends, that I dare to show my face the other night in a ball cap with no makeup on. All right, so what's today? Today's the 29th. No, wait, today is the 29th, sorry. Okay, 29th. So let's use our little roller date stamp here. I think we are going to stamp right in that little spot using our blueprint sketch. So let's look. Just test that out. January 29th, 2026. All right. It's a good idea to date your lists, right? Because I don't know if we did this list next year, you might have totally different things. All right, there we go. There we are. Now, this little guy is, again, if you missed me saying this, my traveler's notebook has been deconstructed because it went to Amy for photography for the idea book. So everything's kind of all skimwampus. But there we go, you guys. There's our second list. Why is this list stressful? All right, so you guys, we have one more giveaway. Let's do this. Let me walk across the room for a minute. I am going to... I'm sorry we didn't get the third one done. My coughing fits at the beginning kind of took a little bit more time than we expected, right? I didn't plan time for coughing fits. All right. So I'm going to rotate the camera so you can see I'm human. You can see I'm still here. Oh, yeah. This is going to be interesting because I was messing with this before and it's totally on the wrong side. So my muscle memory is way off. Oh no, that wasn't too bad. Okay, hold tight. Hold tight. We have our last giveaway. Yeah. I can't wait until April, you guys. And it has to wait till April until we get moved. Once we get moved to the new warehouse, then I'll have my studio set up downstairs and I'll have all the filming equipment will be in. It's all going to be amazing. It's all purchased. It's just I haven't set it up yet because it doesn't make sense to set it up here. Anyhow, we have one more giveaway, right? We have one more giveaway. So let's see. Let me scroll up and so this is really funny. Janine, I'm not going to have you win again, if you're okay with that. It's all random. I just scrolled up and there was Janine Douglas again. So Janine, you have won once. I'm going to pick another person. That's how you know it's random. So let me scroll up some more and scroll down. Joanne Servino. Joanne Servino. And Joanne, it's not because you said because we love Lael. That's not it at all. I just scrolled and wherever my finger stopped. So, but I like that. Thank you, Joanne. Joanne Servino, 3460. Joanne Servino. Joanne, please shoot me an email, laelbymail@gmail.com. In the subject line, please put $25 store credit, and I will load $25 on your account on the website to purchase whatever you'd like. All right, friends, so a couple last things. If you missed me at the beginning and you haven't thumbs up yet, let's just take a quick second and do that, okay? But if you missed me at the beginning, we are not listing this weekend. Bridal shower this weekend for my future daughter-in-law. We're getting down to the wire, you guys. They're getting married March 1st in Seattle, so very excited about that. But so we're not listing this Saturday. That's why we listed tonight. We are listing the following Saturday, which is, I think, the 7th of February. And then things get all scawampus because I'm out of town, and then I'm back in town for a bit, and then we're out of town for the wedding. And then, middle of March, we will not be. That 6th, 7th, and 8th, we won't be listing because we'll be moving the warehouse. So I've got to change that. And then I'll be in Tokyo. So things are all over the board. Just know that I have put in some weeknight listing sessions for us. Schedule is on the blog. Every time I have anything about our Saturday listing sessions or weeknight listing sessions, there's always a link to the schedule there. Always a link at the bottom of the emails that go out. There is a calendar link on my website that just has things written out so you can kind of see when we're listing there. And then I'll also pop it in the Lael by Mail Facebook group and pin it to the top. So you've got all the areas. Hopefully you can find where we're listing and when we're not, just because lots of travel coming up. If you missed it also at the beginning, Monday kicks off moving sale. Moving sale because there's stuff that just doesn't make sense to move. There's a lot of stuff that we have to move, but there's things here and there that just doesn't make sense to move. So, and things will be priced to move, price to sell, not price to move for us to move, but price to move for you, price to sell. What else, you guys? I think that's it. I think that is it. Oh, hang on. Let me just look at the chat really quick because yes, I will get some rest. Oh, I know. How do you get the emails? Paper Made Bakery, go to laelbymail.com. Once you're there for about 5 seconds, a little window will pop up and say, do you want to get our emails? And then you can put your email in. You guys, pretty much everything I use tonight, you will find on the website at laelbymail.com. There's a little link over kind of the far right that says what I'm using. There is also a link in the description box of this video that will take you to the page of what I'm using, but that changes every week. So, if there's something I used, you're not sure where to find it, shoot me an email, I'll help you find it. And then I will get on sourcing that ransom letter alphabet sticker book, because that's a fun one. That made it so much easier. Okay, guys. Thank you for joining me tonight. Thank you for being patient with me for the first little while where Nick had to step in because I was coughing up a lung in the other room. I'm going to have to go back and watch that. Lord only knows what he said. I walked in and he's like this and his whole top of his head's cut off. I'm like, oh, honey, you don't know how to do lives. One of these days I'm going to make him do one with us. I'm going to make him join us. I'm going to make him lead one of our listing sessions. And then he'll really get what I do, right? Okay. That's all, guys. I'm gonna call it a night. I'm gonna go drink some water and take some cough medicine and go to bed. And I will see you guys next week. Next week to list, right? Or Monday night for year in review class if you purchase that kit. All right, you guys. Thank you. Yes, we'll have a very fun time hosting the shower. Lots of fun. Terry. The very beginning, I was coughing a lot. I had to excuse myself. And I went in the other room, and Nick's like, what are you doing? and I was still facing this way. If I was facing down, I could just put a thing saying I'd be right back, but I was facing this way. So I'm like, Nick, go in there so they know what's going on. So he came in front of the camera, and I don't know what he said. So, yeah, I'm going to have to go check it out. That's what you missed. Yeah, he's a good guy. All right, you guys, thank you. Have a good night. Bye. And now I have to, at some point in April, I'll just press a little button, and I'll say bye, and I'll be done. I won't have to walk off camera and do all the manual things. So we'll get there. We'll get there, friends. Good night.